HD2 Houston. Insider access. Exclusive content. Sports Radio 610. The Texans play here. An Odyssey sports station.
Sports Radio 610 presents Seth Payne and Sean Pendergast.
We coming to H time. Let's get the work in, man. Let's go.
Great day, great day. Oh, give me some juice, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Thank you, Jalen Reed. I'm glad Jalen Reed is a thing now. There we go. Good job, Colin. Colin in for Ben. Sean Bijani in for Seth Payne. I am here. This is live, and it's a Football Friday. Out of the Thanksgiving coma, and the NFL was doing the Texans solids left and right yesterday. Turn that music up, baby. We got a Football Friday. Let's go. Let's go. Great to be with all of you on a Friday, on a Football Friday. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. I am Sean Pendergast. He is Sean Bijani. We are with you till 10 a.m. this morning. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving, my friend?
It was very nice.
Yeah.
A lot of football, a lot of food, a lot of beer. I feel like we're just rolling right into this morning. That really hadn't ended for me last night.
Oh, yeah?
From last night. Yeah. It was just it was a long day. And, okay, admittedly, I fell asleep for like maybe 15 minutes during the Chiefs and Cowboys game.
That's okay.
I popped up, had a beer, more food, and then boom.
That's okay.
Here I am.
Boy, you must have been in a bit of a tryptophan coma because of the 3 games, that one was good.
Yeah, when I fell asleep, the Chiefs were down by like 10, and then when I woke up, it was a 3-point game. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Got to be 31-21 there, and the Chiefs, it was 31-21 with about 5 minutes left. And when the Chiefs went down and scored a touchdown, like, all right, here we go.
I couldn't fight it off. I was telling Colin, because he was like, he had the whole tryptophan experience yesterday, and I'm like, well, I don't know what the hell my excuse was. Maybe it was the 5 or 6 beers that I had, because I had like 2 pieces of turkey.
That was it?
Yeah, I was
okay.
I made the ham, so I killed the ham.
Okay, you guys go ham. We go ham and turkey also.
Yeah, got to do the ham.
It's a big talking point for everybody because I think there's a feeling out there that certain holidays are ham holidays and certain holidays, particularly Thanksgiving, are turkey holidays.
Heard that? Yeah.
I'm like, more the merrier, man. The more animals that we can kill and get on my table, the better.
Hey. Ham, pork,
right?
Bacon, pork. Do you have special days when you eat bacon? No. If there's bacon, you
days
eat bacon.
that end in Y. Yeah. So that's it.
That's where I'm at.
How about the football gods? Yesterday as we all gather around the table and we say grace and we're thankful for everything, that the football gods looked down on the city of Houston and said, you know what? It's a pretty gracious city right here. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude. We're gonna increase your percentage chances of making the playoffs by X, whatever it was yesterday. Because I think this is a big swing game for the Texans this weekend. We'll recap what happened yesterday in just a second. But this weekend for the Texans, I'm looking at it. I got to pull this up right here.
Talking about the playoff chances.
Yeah, if they win or lose, and so this is obviously before all these games took place yesterday. Because I would imagine the floor has risen for the Texans slightly yesterday based on the Ravens losing last night in a fashion that makes me feel like, I know it's week to week in the NFL, but boy, Lamar Jackson looks like garbage right now. And then the Chiefs losing another one-score game. Mm-hmm. All the one-score games they were winning last year, they're losing this year. Going into the weekend, this was the swing that the Texans would experience based on the outcome of the game on Sunday against the Colts. If they lose, their playoff chances go down to 26% because they fall to 6-6. Again, I bet it's not that bad based on the fact that the Chiefs and the Ravens lost yesterday.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But I think this probably still holds up. If they win, their chances of making the playoffs go up to 63%. I would bet it's a little higher, but I bet the delta is the same. The difference between winning and losing this game, your percentage chance of making the playoffs is almost 40%, a swing. 26 if you lose, 63 if you win. Both of those are probably a little bit higher, but I would bet the margin is the same. I would bet the magnitude of this game is probably about where it was going into the weekend.
That's interesting because it is a head-to-head against the Colts, and effectively you win this Sunday in Indianapolis. One game separates you.
Yeah.
Whereas if, a few weeks ago you would have done what you were supposed to do in that C.J. Stroud game where he went out with a concussion and beat the damn Broncos, this could have been for a tie atop the AFC South, given the way that everything broke down. I don't necessarily disagree with you in terms of like whatever the delta is, if it's 40%.
Yeah.
But That means the floor raises significantly because of what the Chiefs did yesterday.
Because of yesterday, for sure.
And if the Texans win, it's kind of like, let's have our cake and eat it too, because now we're ensuring ourselves a real chance at winning a division again.
Yep.
And, let's see what the Chargers do, what the Steelers do, what the Jags do, because we're significantly increasing our chances of a wild card spot as well.
The Steelers and Bills play each other this weekend.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
rooting for the Steelers in that one. We're rooting for the Steelers in that game because someone's got to come out of the AFC North. Either the Steelers or the Ravens are going to win that division.
I didn't realize in 1 week we're Dallas Cowboy fans and Aaron Rodgers fans.
Yeah, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to play.
That's all signs seem to point to that. So yesterday, Green Bay and Detroit, the Texans have literally zero dog in that fight. You didn't even play either of those teams this year. There's nothing even about your strength of schedule or strength of victory tiebreaker. That was just a fun game. And it's a reminder that year to year, like anything can happen. The Lions were viewed as a major favorite in the NFC coming into this year. They're 7-5. They were on the outside looking in going into yesterday, and then lose at home.
Yeah.
Lose at home to the Green Bay Packers. And Green Bay, the Micah Parsons trade is working out swimmingly for them. The strange thing is, Sean, in Dallas, as much criticism as Jerry Jones was getting for the Micah Parsons trade, why you trading draft picks for George Pickens?
Yeah.
Trade deadline, why you trading for Quinnen Williams? What are you doing? All these mad scientist moves, and this can change in a week, I get it. But when the debate shows come on the TV in our studio here, that's my exercise I like to go through, especially on Reaction Mondays I like to do it. Today is sort of a mini Reaction Monday because of the 3 games yesterday and what they meant to the Texans. There will be questions on there when Get Up and First Take come on. I'm assuming that they're in today. That it'll say on the screen, are the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl? Can the Cowboys make a run to the Super Bowl? There were people last
Super
night.
Bowl, not even the playoffs.
There were people last night going, are the Cowboys the most dangerous team in the NFC right now? And I'm not here to debate that because this is Houston, and I'm looking more at the effect on the Texans. But you touched on it. Spending 3 hours and 15 minutes rooting for the Cowboys is not a great way to spend a holiday. It was the fact that the Chiefs were on the other end of it made it bearable. So that made me feel dirty. But the outcome, not only the Chiefs losing, but they are now banged up on the offensive line. They had 3 offensive linemen. They were down 3 offensive linemen at certain points in that game. And the biggest one is Josh Simmons, their rookie left tackle, who's been a good player for when he's been in the building.
Yeah.
We missed a few games with the mysterious absence. But he dislocated and fractured his wrist. He was in a sling and a cast after the game yesterday. So at a minimum, you're going to have a one-handed guy trying to block Danielle Hunter or Will Anderson. At a maximum, you're going to have some backup tackle trying to block.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't know how much that's, generally speaking, when you lose a left tackle, whether it be a rookie, it's a starter nonetheless, and a guy they trusted enough to be the protector of Mahomes' blindside. He's missed 4 games already this season.
Right.
Recently, I think it was like week 6 through 9, and the Chiefs were 3-1 in those games.
Yep.
And I went back and looked. Jalen Moore, who started play Simmons in those games where they did go 3-1, Jalen Moore allowed 12 pressures and 3 sacks during that stretch.
Over 4 games.
It's
not bad.
It's not bad, and it's really kind of backloaded. He gave up like 4 of those pressures and a sack in his last start.
Okay.
His last start was the game in which they lost.
Am I right about that? Like 12 pressures over 4 games is that's nothing to like hang your head over, right?
No. Look, in that last one, he gave up again 4.
Yeah.
In the first one, he gave up 3.
Okay.
And then you had the 2 in between, so you sprinkle in. It's an average of like 3 pressures.
I'm just saying it's a backup left tackle.
It's not, and it's not bad. And
Right.
I think he's a veteran guy at that too.
Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting because the Chiefs have been so much of a roller coaster, and you talk about all the close games that they played in. I don't know how much it's going to matter or not. Mahomes still getting his butt sacked off anyway.
Yep.
But I think a lot of that is self-imposed this year more than any other season.
Holding on to the ball, man.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was big yesterday. The Cowboys getting that win over Kansas City. Cincinnati last night. I said this during the week. I said this when early in the week when it looked like Joe Burrow was going to be back. I mean, he was a full participant last week. I felt like they didn't start him against the Patriots because they had the Thanksgiving game coming up. You come back from a toe injury. And they didn't want him playing 2 games in 4 days because he was a full participant prior to the loss to the Patriots. Joe Burrow can be Texans' best friend. I said that on Monday or Tuesday this week. They played the Ravens. They played them last night, and he beat them like a drum, 32-14. I say like a drum. I mean, it was 19-14 in the fourth quarter, and then Lamar Jackson just turned into Geno Smith at some point.
But the Bengals, again, looked like a really good football team.
They did.
He's the difference maker.
And their defense looks better. And they looked better last night, and it's looked better over the last few games. Al Golden's their defensive coordinator. He was a DC at Notre Dame the last couple of years, so I followed him obviously pretty closely. He's a good coach. That defense has improved. But Joe Burrow beat the Ravens last night, so they're 6-6. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs are 6-6, and Joe Burrow plays the Bills next week and the Ravens again the following week. So if you're the Texans and you're the Texans, and we do a quick standings check here as we wake up on Friday morning, having had the Ravens and the Chiefs lose yesterday. Yesterday, if you're just waking up, you weren't paying close attention, and you're a Texan fan, yesterday could not have worked out any better than it did. The Chiefs and the Ravens both lost, and Lamar Jackson looks like crap. He does not look good. He looks banged up. He looks tentative. He's inaccurate. It's delightful. But you look at that swamp of teams, Chargers 7-4, Jags 7-4, Bills 7-4, Chiefs now 6-6, Ravens now 6-6. That's the swamp that you're in right now.
Yeah.
And I'll throw the Colts in there because you play them this weekend, and you might bring them back to the pack a little bit here. They're worrying about, holding this lead that looked insurmountable in the AFC South when they were 7-1 and they were a juggernaut. It's a long season, man, and there are twists and turns. If you're a good enough team, there will be twists and turns. There are no twists and turns for the Browns or the Raiders or the Jets. There's the occasional win, but there's no twists and turns. I would even say the Dolphins at 4-7. That's not a good football team. But if you're a good enough football team, and especially if you're elite on one side of the ball like the Texans are, you're going to be hanging around. Even if you're bad on the other side, you're going to be hanging around. The Texans are proof of that. They won 3 games with their backup quarterback.
Proof's in the pudding this year.
Proof is in the pudding. So yesterday was huge for the Texans with the Chiefs and the Ravens, who I would submit are of that swamp of teams I just talked about. Colts, Steelers, Chargers, Jags, Bills, Texans, Chiefs, Ravens. Going into yesterday, even at 6-5, they were probably the 2 most respected teams, along with the Bills, who the Texans just beat, in that swamp of teams. I can tell you right now, they were the highest on the odds board to come out of the AFC, even with 2 of them not even being inside the playoff ropes yesterday.
It's interesting because from our standpoint, covering the Texans and things like that, this slot of games this week feels like it could swing one way or the other, like fate. And look, again, from a Texan standpoint, you felt that way ever since the 0-3 start. It's like, it's a must-win. Every game's a playoff game, really, seemingly from that point. And then here we are. Yep. But who are the Colts? Who are the Colts right now? I'm wondering what kind of team they are. Nobody was really buying them all the way through the first 7-8 weeks of the season, and now that they've lost 2 of their last 3, Daniel Jones has looked a lot closer to the version that quarterbacked at $40 million per once upon a time ago in New York.
Yep.
Are they a battle-tested group now? Because they've lost some close games, a heartbreaker to the Chiefs last week in overtime, a close one to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, they won an overtime game over in Germany against the Falcons.
Yeah.
So you're right, the last 3 games have been wars for them.
And so I felt that way about that Chiefs and Cowboys game last night. Like, hey, the Cowboys are coming off of an incredibly emotional win, tying a franchise-best 21-point comeback
4 days ago.
And then here the Chiefs are scratching and clawing, and they know people don't really believe in them, but they play close, damn it. And I know they're losing those close games. It's you don't really ever count those guys out, especially when Pat Mahomes is healthy, and I feel the same way about the Texans and Colts this week. It's like, do the Texans continue to look like that scrappy, a lead on one side of the ball kind of a team that just now they're turning it on? Well, I'm not ready to count the Colts out just because they've struggled in 2 out of the last 3 weeks. They could be a battle-tested team, or they could end up being that team that is just getting worn down right now.
Okay, I'm glad you put it to the Colts because we got to touch on this. Sean Pendergast, Sean Bijani with you here on a Black Friday edition of Payne and Pendergast. We are in today. Daniel Jones's fractured fibula. could have been a factor in his regression. The league catching up to him, certainly, I would say, probably a factor in his regression. Here's Shane Steichen a couple days ago talking about the exact injury Daniel Jones is dealing with. It is a fractured fibula.
All I got for you is he's got a fibula, and that's it.
Well, is there any light you can shed on that? Because I got to be honest, when you say fibula, that's a bone and it sounds bad. I'm not saying it is, but.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but he's out there, he's playing, he's practicing, and he's good to go.
Okay, so these are the things that I've learned and that we know. We know he's got a fractured fibula, Daniel Jones. As tends to happen with injuries like this sometimes, if you spend any amount of time on social media, once the news comes out about the injury, or once video footage surfaces of a player practicing with an injury, all the internet doctors all come out of the woodwork.
Yes.
What I've learned is that the fibula is the less important of the two bones in the shin. That it only bears 15% of the weight. The tibia is the one doing all the heavy lifting.
Okay.
The tibia, in my marriage, Amy is the tibia. She's the one doing 80% of the work. I'm the fibula in the whole thing.
Yeah.
I pay the light bill, pay the rent, whatever. The hard work is done by my wife, Amy. She is the tibia in this relationship. So you can get by with the fibula being slightly fractured. If anything were to happen to the Amy in this relationship, all would fail in the house. The house would collapse and fall apart. Yeah. That's what I learned about the fibula. The other thing that we learned if you have human eyes and you watched video on the internet yesterday, Daniel Jones does not seem to be moving well in the little snippets. Maybe he was faking it, but Daniel Jones doesn't strike me as a thespian. He doesn't strike me as somebody who can BS his way. He seems pretty straightforward with that glazed look on his face.
I trust your radio doctor analysis of what bone is more important than the other, but consider these two things, okay? One, Daniel Jones in particular, regardless of what, from a physiological standpoint, is more important, it's about what you feel. Yes. And what you're confident in and how you're able to move. That's one.
Did you see the footage that I'm talking about?
I did, and I saw all the internet hounds come out, and they were like, oh, boy.
Got it.
He's clearly hurting, and, this, that, and the other thing. However, media portion, viewability at NFL practices, there's that. It lasts for 15
You're
minutes.
a veteran of that. You're at most of the Texans practices.
Right. What do the other 2 hours of practice look like?
That's fair.
So that's in the back of my mind, but how about this from Shane Steichen, a coach within an AFC South, maybe for the second straight year. This is a big moment for him, a big moment for Daniel Jones, because we saw what the Jacksonville Jaguars did once upon a time ago with Trevor Lawrence when he had the shoulder injury and the concussion injury, and he took that big hit. And they sabotaged themselves at the end of the day, allowed the Texans to swoop in, win the division because they didn't load manage him properly. At least that was a big piece of the pie in that instance. This very well could turn out to be the same kind of a thing, but from an Indianapolis Colts. But another team at a time is ahead of your Houston Texans, and it's a window of opportunity for Houston to, again, as they say, control their own destiny.
Real quick, the year you're talking about was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
You know what the Texans' record was through 11 games 2 seasons ago?
I do.
6-5.
Yeah.
You know what the Jags' record was? 8-3. Just like the Colts.
Here we go.
I pointed that out earlier this week. I'm like, the only difference with these situations between this year and 2 years ago is that you got the Jags sitting there in between the two teams right now.
Yeah.
You didn't have a third team that was sitting there. I think the Colts were also 6-5 at the time with Gardner Minshew. But the Jags are sitting there at 7-4, so it's it's not a two-way dance; it's kind of a three-way dance.
Is that the heart of Minshew Mania 2.0?
It was, man. Yeah, and we poured cold water on that too in Week 18. Take that, Colts.
Yep.
All right, it is a Football Friday here on Sports Radio 610, which means we'll do 5 Reasons I Hate You in a couple of hours. We are going to do. Seth and I did a Circle of Swarm after the Buffalo game for this game, but I want Sean Bijani to get a chance to participate in a Circle of Swarm. We will do a strictly look ahead Circle of Swarm in an hour. Not rewarding the Bills game. This is strictly who need to be the 6 swarmiest guys. We'll each pick 3. We'll do that in an hour. We'll do that at 7:20. But up next, C.J. Stroud. Our big hope for big news today with C.J. Stroud and the positive situations that this game represents that C.J. has thrived in. We will lay that out coming up next. A reminder, Football Talk on Sports Radio 610, presented by Paramount Plus. Can't count on much these days. You can always count on Sundays with the NFL.
Payne and Pendergast is driven by West Point Lincoln of Sugar Land on the Southwest Freeway. Exit Kirkwood and take the first U-turn at West Airport under the giant American flag. It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Here's Payne and Pendergast.
All right, Sean Pendergast and Sean Bijani in for Seth today. 713-572-4610 if you want to text into the show. Here's D'Amico Ryans a couple of days ago. How long do you think it'll take for CJ to get back to where he was once he comes back from concussion protocol?
Whatever the injury is, like it's different for each guy. And, you know, how long it takes for a guy to bounce back and get back into, you know, the form that they were in previously, it takes time. And so we'll see what happens. If he's out there and playing, we hope he's playing at his highest level to help us be in position to win the game.
Okay, I imagine this is the thing. If you're a Texan fan who's been unplugged from things for the last day or two because it's the holidays, you can get a chance to focus on the news cycle, whatever. The thing you're waking up this morning wondering is C.J. Stroud out of concussion protocol? And I'll throw Jalen Petrie in there too. Mm-hmm. They were full participants at practice yesterday, which means that's the second practice this week that C.J. Stroud's been a full participant. Jalen Petrie was limited on Wednesday, but I think he practiced last week,
He did.
too.
He practiced 2 days in a row last week.
Yeah, so neither have cleared the protocol, but all the news early in the week was the expectation is that they're going to clear protocol in time for this Colts game. If I had to guess, and this is purely a guess, but if I had to guess, if there was media yesterday, which there was not, there was just practice and the media got the day off. Mm-hmm. No press conferences. There will be today. If there were press conferences yesterday, I would guess that there's a really good chance we would have gotten good news on C.J. Stroud and or Jalen Petrie with the full practice. My expectation today is that we get the all clear on these guys today.
I agree with you.
That's my expectation. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if I had to bet, that's what I would bet.
There's one question, and, this is really just from a media perspective, is that, hey, today's Friday. Typically on Fridays, D'Amico Ryans is available to the media, but it's in an off-the-record conversation. Yeah. Is he on the podium today for public comments? That's what I don't know. And I'm trying to remember now it's for 19 years and 3 years under the D'Amico Ryans. You get so desensitized in looking at the damn emails that the Texans send out. I don't remember if they ever put the Friday availability that's off the record in the email or not. Today, he's on the email as in he's supposed to speak at 1 p.m., but is that just to off-the-record media or, publicly?
I can tell you every email that gives the media availability for the week, they send it out on Sunday night after games, as you know. They have that Friday availability, I'll call it private availability that D'Amico does for the media. They go there for Friday.
It's on there?
Each week they put it on there.
Okay.
Because that email's not for the public, it's for the media.
Here's why that's important to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans, kind of raised some eyebrows on Monday whenever he was asked right off the bat about Jalen Petrie and C.J. Stroud's availability. Like, are they still in concussion protocol? And he said they're still in concussion protocol. Right. And I was like, man, what? Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course they were. One, because he was 10 minutes removed from being on the practice field.
Mm-hmm.
C.J. Stroud, Jalen Petrie have to be cleared by an independent neurologist. Yeah. That wasn't going to happen in 10 minutes at the end of practice.
Right.
So D'Amico Ryans, even though he probably had a really good feeling about either one of those guys, couldn't say and probably wasn't going to allude because they live in fact or not fact. They don't live in hypotheticals. Every NFL coach will tell you that. So he didn't have to say anything on Monday. And because of the lack of availability between Monday and now going into today, he may not have to say anything today. I think it's a gamesmanship play to a certain degree.
Yep.
Because if the Texans really wanted to, they could have pushed the press conference back and then been able to, quell everybody's, anxiety and fear that maybe he won't be available for the Colts game.
Yep.
They didn't need to do that. No, they want the Colts sitting over there preparing for C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills, and they might very well want to do that today and have them wait until 3 or 4 o'clock when the final injury report comes out.
Yep, that's a good point. Final injury report comes out today. So I'm expecting good news here as far as what time it comes down. We'll wait and see. But the fact that they're both practicing in full, and you see the videos of CJ, he's out there doing all his handshakes with his teammates and things like that. If we're doing a heavy reading into the first 15 minutes of practice for both the Colts and the Texans. Like, Daniel Jones looks like he can't walk. C.J. Stroud looks like he told this concussion to go to hell.
Yeah.
He's doing all the handshakes.
And he remembers 25 guys' personalized handshakes.
He remembers all of them, yes. He remembers them. Oh, my God. He remembered all the handshakes. Good brain exercises. Yeah. Here's the thing that has me excited. Assuming that C.J. Stroud comes back for this game. C.J. Stroud in the division, 9-4, 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's got a completion percentage of nearly 70%. Remember how awesome CJ was his rookie year? He won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
His numbers in the division are basically his rookie year numbers. 9-4 record, 21 touchdowns. I think his rookie year he was 9-6, because he missed a couple games with a concussion. Mm-hmm. 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Remember how awesome he was? That's what he's been in the division. So that's number one. Number two, C.J. Stroud against the Colts. 3-1 lifetime. The only loss was literally the second game of his career when he threw for 360 yards in a loss.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah, largely in the second half.
Yeah, it was kind of garbage time.
Yeah.
But it was still his second game. I remember.
That's when he self-proclaimed, kind of started to put things together.
Yes,
he will tell you that.
That and then Jacksonville and Pittsburgh the next 2 weeks. He was on the fast track.
Mm-hmm.
3-1 against the Colts, but the really good news, the 2 games he's played in Lucas Oil Stadium, he's been outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
The Week 18 game to play their way into the postseason in 2023.
Yeah.
And then Week 1 the following year when Joe Mixon went nuts. CJ had a great day that day, too. He's got a 124 passer rating in the 2 games at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 20 of 26, 24 of 32. I mean, we're talking completion percentages, 70%, 75% and higher. The last time C.J. Stroud came back from a concussion in 2023, the Texans won the next 3 games. The first one was against Tennessee at home, so you don't get full credit for that one. Tennessee sucks, and C.J. wasn't great in that game, but they won 26-3. The following week was at Indy, and he was undeniably great in that game. I think he was AFC Offensive Player of the Week, if I'm not mistaken. And then the wild card round against Cleveland was the week after that, and he had one of the best games a rookie's ever had in the postseason. So as far as the situations in this game, who the opponent is, it's a division game. CJ's come back from this type of injury before. These things all line up pretty well for the Texans right now.
It just hadn't taken this long before, but maybe you can excuse that away because the Texans didn't want him coming back and playing on a short week.
Yeah.
And they've been very calculated in how they want anybody to have that ramp-up week after any injury, but particularly a concussion, which I know they're not all created equal. It's still made it very curious how quickly Nico Collins came back from his concussion earlier this year, which, I don't know, minus the hit, just from head hitting turf, looked a little bit more severe, in my opinion, than the one CJ suffered. And then Nico just missed the game, and then he came back.
Yep.
So, yeah, you can cross off all those other divisional kind of issues that maybe other teams have and feel good about that, hey, when Stroud or if Stroud comes back against the Colts this weekend, it's not because he typically sucks in Indy. You don't have to worry about him sucking against the Colts or whatever. It's, can he do it within the Snickley offense this weekend?
The way Davis Mills did at times, at least, through the last 3 weeks. All right, we are off and running here on a Football Friday, Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you guys had a great holiday. If you're up with us this morning, check in on the text page, 713-572-4610. We acknowledge the people that are up with us early here, taking a listen on a holiday weekend. Up next, headlines. We'll talk about the Texans a little bit here. Rockets as well. It was a good Wednesday for the Rockets. We'll give them their love. And some big news in Major League Baseball. The hot stove is cooking a little bit, and the Astros, I think, were paying attention to a signing that happened over the last couple days. That's all coming up next on Headlines.
You know, I was stuck yesterday with nobody to tell about Trajan Wealth. And so I said, okay,
Payne and Pendergast with today's headlines powered by Men's Tea Clinic.
All right, we appreciate you guys tuning in on a holiday weekend. Sean Pendergast alongside Sean Bijani, who's in for Seth today. Colin Neal in for Ben Gary. We will circle back to the Texans at the top of the hour, but let's start there in headlines. Texans back on the practice field today. We hope and we pray that we get some good news regarding the concussions of C.J. Stroud and Jalen Petrie, and that this baby on Sunday is going to be a C.J. Stroud joint. All kudos to Davis Mills for going 3-0 as the backup. Did his job to great praise. But C.J. Stroud being back would be huge, especially if we get the version of C.J. that we started to see before he got hurt. The entirety of that San Francisco game.
Yeah.
And then even early in the Denver game, he was playing pretty well in that game.
Yeah, he was. It's easy for people to forget, though, because the Texans, from an offensive standpoint, team-wide standpoint, they had 3 points to show for it.
Right.
And it took Davis Mills coming in, after the C.J. Stroud concussion to where they thought they could field goal the Broncos to death. Mm-hmm. I think Mills led 4 more field goal drives to Stroud's 1. But, I asked John McClain on Wednesday if he thought, the last 3 weeks missing, however much time Stroud could devote to actually sitting, watching, diving into film of this Texans offense, how much has he actually been able to learn and take away from seeing Davis Mills operate a Nick Caley offense? Mm-hmm. And he said none. It's more about Stroud learning from the situations that Davis Mills was in. I thought that was interesting. I think both can be true. I think both are true.
Yeah.
Because, go back to pre-concussion, we weren't thrilled with the way that C.J. Stroud was handling the offense. That San Francisco game, which was his first 300-plus yard passing performance in a really long time.
Yep.
That was like, hey, okay. And it was a pretty good opponent.
No Nico Collins in that game.
No Nico Collins, great point. And you kind of thought that maybe the Texans are onto something here. And you mentioned the early portion of that Broncos game. Does he pick up right where he left off? Has he been able to unlock a little something by watching Mills, whatever the situations might have been?
Yeah.
I think that's true, and that's the most intriguing thing to me about Sunday.
Yep. I'm looking forward to that. Noon kickoff here on Sports Radio 610. Seth Payne and I have you at 9 o'clock for Texans Countdown here on Sports Radio 610. Let's make sure we get the Rockets in here in headlines. They beat Golden State on Wednesday night. Similar, I guess, to the Texans in a way. No Kevin Durant in either of the last 2 games.
Yeah.
The same way the Texans, no C.J. Stroud the last 3 games. No problem for the Rockets. They beat up on the Suns on Monday. And then the Golden State game, that was a fun game. That was an entertaining game. The big story in that game, Reed Shepherd.
Yeah.
31 points in that game. And I think to me, Sean, the thing I was most impressed with Reed Shepherd, he had 31 points. He only made 3 free throws, and he made 4 3-pointers, which means there were a ton of field goals that he was getting in the mid-range.
Did you see the best one of the bunch?
Which one? I saw them all. Which one are you talking about?
Dude, that move
where he shook the guy.
He started on the left side at the elbow and then goes behind the back fadeaway jumper contested in that dude's face.
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful.
I saw this comparison on social media last night, and I was hoping to see maybe do some side-by-side video of this. But there was some mid-range stuff in that game on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Looking a little CP3-ish, a little prime CP3-ish.
Man, yeah.
CP3 had that mid-range.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. And I hope he continues to tap into that because, as many people will say, either current NBA players or former NBA players, it's a lost art.
Yeah.
Have you seen the shot selection charts, in 2025 compared to 1995 or
right.
2005? It's non-existent, from the 15, 17, 18 feet. That's something that I think he can afford to attack, and he needs to because I tell you what, the Rockets have got to kind of expand this offense with and without Kevin Durant or other guys at this time, and he could be one of those guys to take him to the next level.
He absolutely can. He's been fantastic this season, and I don't think he's ever going to be the floor general that Fred VanVleet is. That's getting everything orchestrated out there offensively.
Yeah,
I don't think. I know they were hoping that between him and Amen that there may be some of that. I still think this is a season. Yeah, Aaron Holiday's starting to play a bigger role.
Yeah. He had a nice game the other night,
He
too.
did. He's had a couple nice games. The Phoenix game, he was outstanding. I think that's the one you're referring to.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know if they make a pickup here. Look, December 15th is the first day they can really start kind of dipping their toe in the trade waters because all these guys that would be part of a trade by CBA rules in the NBA can't be traded till December 15th. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen anything yet that tells me they urgently need to make a trade here in the regular, early part of the trade period in the regular season. Trade deadline will be in February sometime. Maybe by then, if that's changed. I just don't know. I think they're going to kind of muck the point guard role together with, hey, Alpy, it's your turn to bring it up the court.
So far, so good.
It's worked fine. It's just how's it work against Oklahoma City? That's the big question.
You're right. And look, in this stretch alone, they are in the early stages. Now, we'll have 2 home games coming up here pretty soon. I think it's Phoenix and Sacramento, if memory serves.
Yes, early December. That's right. Dude, a couple of Utah games coming up here on the road.
They got 10 road games in the next 12. That's what they're in the midst of.
Yep.
We're not going to see them back home until after Christmas.
Right.
After these 2 games coming up. And the schedule is tougher. There are some better teams out there, and the schedule in and of itself is rigorous. This is their first real lengthy test this season, and they're having to start it without Kevin Durant and Tari Eason and Steven Adams. Is he going to be able to contribute? Never mind from a basketball sense on who's manning the point.
Finally got a back-to-back coming up for the first time this weekend.
First one this season,
First one this season. I mean, it's Utah and Utah. They're going to Utah to play 2 games.
It's such a dumb schedule. I'm looking forward to the Vernon Maxwell Twitter account.
Against Utah.
Sunday.
It's delightful.
Yeah.
It is delightful. All right, hey, real quick note, Dylan Cease, who I think a lot of folks, a lot of Astro fans were curious about the Astros being interested in. We know there was heavy interest in him in the trade deadline this past season. Astro fans, when I put up a poll a few weeks ago, who would you rather have, Dylan at the same money? Would you rather have Dylan Cease or Framber Valdez? Dylan Cease got 80% of the vote.
Oh yeah,
I mean just Framber.
People are tired of him.
The damage he's done.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease signs with the Blue Jays, 7 years, $200. That's an interesting signing because Dylan Cease has been very inconsistent in his overall numbers. The one thing he's been consistent, availability. 32 starts at least each of the last 5 years.
Extremely durable and reliable.
Yeah, so he is somewhat in our lives now because he's in the American League, Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
Back in the American
League. Those Blue Jays ain't going away, it doesn't look like. I did a quick study, and we can maybe get to this more in depth if we get back to baseball later on. But, boy, I thought, man, the Blue Jays are spending some money.
Yep.
They have been spending money for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
They've been ranked from 2019 – from 22, they spent the 5th most money this past season, and they're probably going to be right there in the top 5 again, maybe even top 3 with this Dylan Cease.
It's a big
contract.
market. Toronto is a huge city.
It's a huge market, but boy, what a pain in the ass of a division they got to play in. With Boston and New York. And if you do want to compete, you're going to have to spend a little money.
I'm glad we're with all these crappy teams in the AL West.
Well,
geography, baby.
Rangers are getting a little bit better. They got Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah.
Okay. Seattle decided to visit the deep end this past year, like in season with the trade of Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor. So we'll see if they decide to spend more money too.
Yeah, we need them to get crappy again. Need it badly.
Yeah.
All right, Sean Pendergast alongside Bijani today in for Seth. All right, into the 7 o'clock hour we go. All right, 7:20, we're going to do a look-ahead circle of Swarm. Seth and I did the official circle of Swarm for the Colts game back up the day after the Bills game. But we're going to do a hardcore who do the 6 swarmiest Texans need to be to come out with a victory on Sunday. We'll do that at 7:20. Up next, audio that will get you excited about this Colts game based on the struggles the Colts are having, and the schedule gods love the Houston Texans. We'll get to that coming up next.
Credit to Miko's defense for coming up big in a 23. WILT-FM HD2 Houston. Insider access, exclusive content. Sports Radio 610. The Texans play here. An Odyssey sports station. It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Here's Payne and Pendergast.
So if you're just waking up, big day for the Texans yesterday without having played a football game. They just got to practice in the morning and then sit around and eat all their turkey and their dressing and their mac and cheese yesterday afternoon and watch the Cowboys do them a solid by beating the Chiefs 31-28.
Yeah.
And then Joe Burrow coming back, our new best friend, new kid in the neighborhood. Who's this Joe kid? I like him. He beat up Lamar Jackson yesterday, the bully that's been beating us up all these years.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I was kind of anticipating
32-14.
I was anticipating that one being the best game of the bunch going in, maybe because of all the drama and, hey, here come the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, Burrow's return, but it was not.
No.
It was fun to watch, but I thought it was going to be a lot closer to what we got from Chiefs and Cowboys.
Yes. Yeah, division game.
Yeah.
It's Lamar. Something's wrong with Lamar Jackson. I mean, something's wrong that might not get resolved this season. Like, he does not look well.
Yeah.
He is missing easy throws. He's not.
You noticed the throws, and maybe we said this off air earlier, but I noticed it on a keeper of his. Like, I guess he decided to pull it down and run it on the left sideline.
Yep.
It was sometime in the third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter, when they still kind of had a chance. He ran for the first down.
He got a first down. He got to the sticks, yeah.
If this is Lamar Jackson a handful of weeks ago, like if healthy, rather just period, anytime Lamar Jackson, he cuts that thing back up and maybe gets 8 to 10 more yards.
Yes.
He totally bailed out to totally avoid contact, and I couldn't tell if it was like a right shoulder, a right hip, a lower leg situation with him, but he clearly did not want anybody to physically touch him in that moment.
No, he did not want that smoke. This is the Ravens' schedule the rest of the way. And I'm doing this because the Ravens, to me, over the last couple of years, they're my most feared team. Not this moment, they're not, because Lamar Jackson just looks like a fraction of himself. But over the aggregate of the last 2.5 years, my feeling has always been, even though it's the Chiefs that continually win the AFC and the Bills making the AFC tie game, my feeling has been that the Ravens, especially since Derrick Henry got there, have had the highest ceiling. The A game of the Ravens is better than anybody else's over the last couple of years. I'm not saying right now, has been the best of anybody. And we saw it on Christmas. We experienced it on Christmas last year.
Yeah, thanks.
The Ravens came in and gave you their A game, and they beat you 31-2. Literally 31-2. So that's, to me, like they're the wicked witch. They're the one that we need to pour water on and just get the hell rid of.
Yeah.
Their schedule the rest of the way is not easy. There's no real patsies on this schedule for them. They still have 2 games against the Steelers. They host the Steelers this weekend. They're at the Bengals, who just took them to the woodshed at home. They play the Patriots at home, who have the best record in the AFC. I think the Patriots, I tend to agree with Cam Newton on this one. I feel they are a little fool's gold, but they're still a good football team. Super easy schedule, but they're taking care of business.
I'll buy them before I buy the Colts.
Yes, right now for sure, especially with Daniel Jones banged up. At the Packers, and then at the Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens could lose. If this is the Lamar Jackson we're getting, the Ravens could lose all of those games.
Yeah. What does that Week 18 game look like with Pittsburgh? From a health standpoint, are they in contention? Are they resting guys? Are they at their best? And
who's they? The Steelers?
The Steelers, yeah. And, the Packers, they're so inconsistent to me. I look at them like that would be a very winnable game for them. Next game coming up, December 7th for the Ravens. Pittsburgh's very gettable right now. Like they're not anybody,
But this is the most collegiate rivalry in the NFL is Ravens Steelers. I mean, I think you're going to get whatever the best version is of both of them. My thing with the Ravens right now, the best version of Lamar Jackson might not be that good right now.
Yeah, but welcome to it, Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to play?
Yeah.
How does he play?
This will be Aaron Rodgers' first Ravens game.
And we're talking about like a guy who could be, an MVP every year in Lamar Jackson. Dude's got a chip on his shoulder. I know he's banged up. There's clearly something wrong with him, but He's in the Mahomes territory, and like I'm not betting against that guy.
Right. No, and I say they could lose all 5 of those games. They're obviously not going to, but they're 6-6 now.
Yeah,
I would submit that's the hardest schedule. I'll do that exercise today. That every other team that's in that morass of 7-4 and 6-5,
yeah,
they've all got at least 1 or 2 patsies on. The Texans have back-to-back home games against the Cardinals and the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
That's very beneficial.
Thank you, schedule gods.
Yeah, they're right. The Jags have the Titans and the Jets. I think they've got the Titans twice and the Jets.
I believe you're right.
Coming up. So they got some that you can feel like, okay, we can breathe a little bit. I know they're not going to do that, and I know they're division games, and it's the NFL and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about teams that are below the line of competitive, like really competitive.
Yeah.
They don't have any of those games. Like the Bengals by record are one of those games, but you just lost to them by 18 at home 12 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to their place, and they got Joe Burrow back. And look, and I don't know who the Bengals, although the Bengals play the Bills coming up next year, because we talked about Joe Burrow being their best friend. Like they beat the Bills, all of a sudden the Bengals are feeling themselves a little bit here. So you're going to get a good version of the Bengals at home probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bengals are spoilers.
This is good news for anybody whose team is in that 7-team swamp of teams right there.
Yes.
Steelers at Bengals, Patriots at Packers at Steelers. That ain't easy. I know I agree with you. Steelers are gettable for sure right now, but so are the Ravens. These are 2 gettable teams, and one of them has to win the division because the Bengals and the Browns aren't winning that.
No,
division.
you're right. Yeah, now I'm thinking it like from a fan standpoint. It's so weird. Like we had to be Cowboy fans yesterday, and then a little bit down the road, now we're going to be Patriot fans.
We're going to be such whores over the next. We are going to be showing so much leg over the next 5 weeks.
I thought about weeks.
Hey, Drake May, what do you think of this?
You got to do what you got to do as a sports fan, right? We experience it all the time with the Astros. Sometimes we got to root for the Mariners. Sometimes we got to root for the Rangers.
Yeah, man.
Especially the last couple of years when it's come down to literally either the final week or the final day for the Astros.
Yeah.
From a Texan standpoint, it was kind of like being a vegan, making googly eyes at the turducken yesterday, and then preaching, meat is murder.
Yes.
But you got to do what you got to do.
You got to. You got to make the playoffs, man. So who's the most painful one to root for out of all those teams that we hate, or would be if we had to root for them? Because there's going to be a lot of whoring ourselves out over the next month or so.
The junk grabbers. Texas Rangers.
Oh, okay. No, I was talking football.
Football?
Yeah.
The Cowgirls.
The junk grabbers. I love that you and Creighton call them the junk grabbers. Which ones?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, to me, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. I get it. It's Dallas. I totally understand that. I actually like Dak Prescott. Like, there's nothing real unlikable.
I do too.
About the Cow. Like, I don't even, like, people are going to say Jerry Jones. I think Jerry Jones is hilarious. Mm-hmm. You see him with the turkey leg after the game yesterday?
No, I missed him.
Walked into his media availability. Jerry Jones's media availability after games is him walking out of his suite.
Exactly.
And the media gathering around him and him holding court.
Yeah.
He's holding a gigantic turkey leg and eating it while he's talking to the media. So they're unlikable because it's Dallas.
Yeah.
There's not really much unlikable about the team. Like if somehow things were coming down to it in the AFC, and I had to root for Trevor Lawrence for some reason. There's just something about Trevor Lawrence and his face and his hair and his overratedness.
Yeah, okay.
That one.
You bring all the aesthetics into it.
And James Gladstone, their GM, and old Mr. Duval, the Liam Cohen.
Duval.
Give it to me, Colin. Put it in my veins. We got it.
Duval.
Yeah. No. Give it to me one more time so I can work up some improvement.
Duval.
Yeah, see, I hate that, right? So
that and then the Colts guy, if the Colts would be another one. You're right. Just from a Texan standpoint,
like all these ones that we've had to see. We see the Cowboys once every 4 years.
If you had to root for the Titans,
we had
the fake Oilers.
We had to. The Titan, and we are this weekend.
Well,
they play the Jags. We're rooting for the Titans this weekend.
I know, but because you still have a really good chance to win the division, it's kind of like
hold up, a really good chance to win the division. They're 2 games back. like the
Yeah, but
Colts.
you got the Colts, a team that you don't believe in. You got to still face them
Putting
twice.
a lot of faith in a 6-5 team right now.
I'm trying not
that
to
they're just
root
gonna
for the Oilers,
TCB.
the fake Oilers. I don't want to do it.
You have to. No, you have to. This is one of many instances.
That's worse than rooting for the Cowboys yesterday, like tenfold.
And that's where I'm getting at here. That's why I asked the original question.
I had to talk my way through it. Okay?
Right. No, it's kind of therapy. It's all good.
Kinda. Now I'm pissed off. Now I'm mad. I'm supposed to feel better after therapy.
No. Well, it's a process. Okay. Trust the process. All right, I'll make you feel better with something. This is Benjamin Solak from ESPN talking about the Texans' opponent this weekend.
What do the numbers say about why Indy's offense has been struggling as of late?
It starts with pressure. Daniel Jones performing a lot worse under pressure than he was previously. First 8 weeks of the season, on pressure dropbacks, he was taking a sack on 8%, 7% of his dropbacks, a ludicrous figure. The last 4 weeks, it's over 30%. And this Chiefs game was the game where Shane Steichen said, enough. Listen, no more sacks. They were in max protection, Jay, on 34% of Daniel Jones' dropbacks. That's the most for any quarterback in any game this season. They had a time to throw Daniel Jones of 2.4 seconds, the fastest of any game so far this season. They took the offense out of his hands, the passing attack out of his hands in a way they had not previously to this point in the year. And they coached really cautiously as well. Shane Steichen tends to be one of the most aggressive fourth down decision makers in football, but he punted on a 4th and 3 at midfield, another one at midfield. He kicked field goals on a 4th and 4 and a 4th and 6. They were afraid of the ball being in Daniel Jones' hands in this game. And for that reason, these offensive concerns to me are very serious for the Colts. They have 2 games against the Texans coming up, 2 games against the Jaguars. I'm worried about their seat there at the top of the AFC South.
Yeah, they had to stop being themselves, basically. Mm-hmm. The version of the Colts that got them to 7-1 on the season was one that was very Daniel Jones centric. And obviously, Jonathan Taylor's having a damn near MVP caliber season.
Yeah.
But the quarterback on most teams is what makes the whole thing go. And Daniel Jones' ability to use his legs, keep the defense off balance. And then Shane Steichen, I thought Solak made a great point at the end of that audio right there, that it wasn't just the play calling, it seeped into the game management, the decisions that Shane Steichen is making, the ones that really put pressure on a defense where, wow, it's 3rd and 6 at about the 45-yard line. This is 4-down territory for a team like this. Mm-hmm. That was removed from the equation against the Chiefs on when the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs played yesterday, this past Sunday against the Chiefs.
Like the multiple looks that the Colts could give teams earlier in the season. That's kind of been whittled down, and you're trying now to literally maybe preserve Daniel Jones from a health standpoint. Mm-hmm. We'll see, but to me, that's like plays into what the Texans need to do to win this game on Sunday perfectly. The fact that the Colts have had to bring in extra protection that takes effectively the ball out of the hands of Jonathan Taylor. The Kansas City Chiefs, hey, pretty good defense. They could dial it up when they want to. This was one of the few times where they held Jonathan Taylor to fewer than even 75 yards, I think, in a game this season. That's what the Texans need to do. Can they do it? Absolutely.
Absolutely,
it's the best defense.
they can.
But it's funny because going into that Bills game this past weekend, I had, several keys to the game, but 2 big ones. And one, special teams for the Texans needed to be automatic. Clearly wasn't. You gave up a 97-yard touchdown. You escaped that. The other one, you cannot allow explosives. And some way, somehow, the Texans even could cross that one out, because they did. They gave up a 14-yard run to Josh Allen on a 3rd and 13 and the 4th and 27 hook and ladder. But James Cook, they burnt the Texans with James Cook as well. I'm worried about the Colts being able to hit explosives in timely fashions where the Texans have been vulnerable in these critical situations.
Yeah.
In the large part, hey, looks like they've done a really great job, but Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, even this Cam Ward, this past week, Josh Allen, in critical situations, they've given up those big plays because at those times, a team might not have the ability for them to be like multiple and give this versatile look. But in that moment, you have to respect it, and the Texans have gotten burnt at times.
They have. The Chiefs, I think the Chiefs gave somewhat of a blueprint. I mean, look, shut down Jonathan Taylor. Genius take. Yes, that's the blueprint. But they gave up one big play to him, a 27-yard run off to the right.
Yeah.
The rest of his carries, he averaged barely 2 yards a carry. Like, everything he was getting hit at the line of scrimmage. They were getting hands on him. Like, if you give him a little bit of space, especially if you don't contain the edge. Man, he gets outside, he's a nightmare. So yeah, I'm encouraged. I see some texters saying this, like, man, I'm not super worried about this game. Texters are saying that, and I'm not saying I'm casual about this game, but I feel very differently about this game than I thought I would since 3-5 a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And some of that is due to the Texans looking like they figured some things out offensively, thinking about what the version of C.J. Stroud that we were starting to see before he got hurt, plunking it into some of the things that they've been doing better of late, protecting the passer, running the football a little bit. And then the Colts, their part in how I feel is they're not the same team the last 3 weeks.
No, they're not.
They're turning the ball over, and Daniel Jones is banged up.
This, to me, is a swing game, and that's how I choose to approach it, from how I fan, I guess, and look at this is a swing game for both of these teams, Colts or Texans, and I think it's because we don't have, like, a lot of faith in the offense right now, and there have been really not a lot of reasons to. Yes, they've done some things really well at times, but sustainability, consistency, you can't use those two words with the Texans from an offensive standpoint.
I don't think you use the word good either. They're not a good offense.
They're not
now.
good.
They're just better than they were when they were bad.
There's two things. Can they marry up? C.J. Stroud, the game that he had against the San Francisco 49ers, his last full game, and hey, the Texans and Nick Caley put 20 points on the board in the first half against the Buffalo Bills, a pretty good football team this past week.
Yep.
And can those two things marry up in CJ's return on Sunday?
Real quick, this is Chiefs' schedule the rest of the way. So the two teams that lost yesterday, games that they really needed to win, they're 6-5. They both fall to 6-6. We went through the Ravens' schedule. They've got two Steeler games. They've got now I'm doing it off of memory, but they've got a Packers game on the road, two Steeler games, a Patriot game, and a Bengals game. So the easiest one by record on that slate are the 4-8 Bengals, who just took them to the woodshed last night. The Chiefs schedule the rest of the way. They have the Texans next Sunday on Sunday Night Football at home. They've got the Chargers at home. And I think the Chargers are a team that's teetering a little bit right now just based on all their injuries on the offensive line. And they're the Chargers. You just can't trust them. At the Titans, home for the Broncos in a revenge game, and then at the Raiders. I mean, that's almost about knowing that you're going to have a couple of games. No one's going to have 5 easy games the rest of the year this time of year. But you got your 3 hardest games at home and you got the 2 easy ones on the road. And that you even have 2 easy games. I mean, the Titans and the Raiders are going to be duking it out for the number 1 overall pick. Both of those teams are on your schedule. So the Chiefs should feel good, like, okay, we're going to get to at least 8 wins here. And now we got to figure out a way to win 2 home games against the Texans, Chargers, and Broncos. I think the Texans, the schedule gods with the Texans, as hard as it was the first 10 games of the season, where they lost 5 of those by a combined total of 24 points, all to teams that would be in the playoffs, if the season ended today. I think the Rams, Bucks, Jags, Seahawks, and Broncos.
Yeah.
Those are 5. I know the Bucks have been of late, but those are 5 good teams.
They haven't been healthy either, though.
Yeah. But the version of the Bucks the Texans got in week 2 is a playoff team.
Yeah.
And you lost by a combined total of 24 points. So you got handed a pretty tough schedule out of the chute with a brand new offense, with C.J. Gardner-Johnson going off the reservation in critical times in 3 of those games, all of those things, and you still found a way to be in most of those games. They're all one-score games. The Seahawks kind of a phony one-score game. Down the stretch here, the schedule gods are smiling on the Texans, at least as of right now with this snapshot. I mean, I'll start with last week. You got the Thursday night game at home instead of having to travel. That's always huge to me.
Yeah.
You get to you're getting 33% more of the rest and work than the other team is.
But the Bills on a short week, if it's all equal, you were looking at that and you were like, damn, that's going to be really tough, man.
Yeah.
And then, you've got, this is their gauntlet that they had last year, really, when it was Miami, the Chiefs, and Baltimore.
Yep.
This is this 2025 version of that gauntlet.
But I would say that this is the fortuitous part. I'm going glass half full here on you. You're catching the Colts at a time of the season for both games.
Yeah.
That it's way better catching them now than earlier in the season. I mean, I think we all thought that earlier in the season because it was impossible to think the Colts were going to play any better than they were playing the first 7 or 8 weeks of the season. So that's good. And Daniel Jones is starting to look more like Daniel Jones, and now he's hurt too. 3 out of your final 4 are at home. And 2 of them are against the dregs of the league right now. Arizona's not quite in Tennessee, Jet, Raider territory, but they ain't far.
No.
And you get them at home, and you get the Raiders the following week at home. You might get a better version of the Raiders, according to some of these reports we saw with Chip Kelly was botching play calls. Did you see that?
Oh, yes.
He's calling the wrong formations and motions, and Geno Smith's walking up to the line like, I don't think this guy's in the right spot right
He's
now.
like one of the highest paid offensive coordinators in the league, and he's, getting
$6 million.
Yeah, getting his Raiders playbook confused with the one on Madden.
Yeah, right. I still think they suck, but it sounds like anybody other than Chip Kelly calling plays could be an improvement. I think you're getting the Chargers at a time of year where Justin Herbert might be dead by week 17.
Yeah.
He could die.
Yeah, you just don't know anything. And they're beat up in other areas, too.
Yeah. Like, Harbaugh, they've Harbaugh'd their way to 7-4 right now.
Yes.
So I think you're getting them in week 17. That's not a real home field advantage either. You're getting them on the road. One of your road games is in LA against the Chargers. Okay. So I think the schedule, it's lining up here for the Texans as well as it can.
I can get the Texans to 10 wins a lot more convincingly than I can get the Chiefs to 10 wins.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that's how I
definitely
feel
the Ravens
right now.
to 10 wins.
And that's not even trying to be glass half full. That's just what I think we know about how this team has been able to, meander along with the NFL's best defense. I put so much on them, put so much on D'Amico in that defense. And, shout out Matt Burke, because ever since he started calling the damn defense, man, they've even taken themselves to a completely different level.
They sure have.
It's fun.
They sure have. All right. So we normally do the Circle of Swarm at about this time every Friday. And we reward past performance in the previous game with a slight look ahead to the next game. We've already done the Circle of Swarm for this upcoming game with the Colts. We did it a week ago today because the Texans played on Thursday night last week. But I want to do one here that's all look ahead to the Colts game. This is more of our Circle of Hope Swarm, where we're hoping these are the 6 key guys that need to play the swarmiest. So without further ado.
What we're looking for is players, right, who are looking to swarm.
The swarm mindset, that whole mentality.
Right, we want players to have a special work ethic and a relentless mindset in everything that they do.
Who's in?
This is a special group of men, believe it.
It's the Payne and Pendergast Texans Circle of Swarm.
Right, Circle of Swarm, look-ahead version to the Colts game on Sunday. We all know what the swarm is, man. And it can be offense or defense. Sean, I'm going to give you the honors. Normally, Seth picks first.
Okay.
I'm going to let you pick first.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Now I'm going to maybe go against the grain here, violate a rule here. Can I?
Hold on. I let you go first. And you come in and you don't even wipe your feet on the welcome mat and you're flipping over furniture and what?
I didn't think we had a formal relationship. I thought, we just come in, dap it up, be like, hey, this is very informal.
We don't.
thing.
You just grab some stuff out of the fridge.
Yeah. Grab a beer. I don't need to ask permission.
It's a Circle of Swarm, though, man. I'm anxious to see which rule you're breaking. I'll allow it without even knowing which rule it is.
It's tough because I got to go combination of 2 interior guys on the defensive line.
Oh, a two-headed Circle of Swarm.
Yeah, I got to go Sheldon Rankins and Tim Settle.
Hey, this is breaking a huge rule because it can only be 6 people in the Circle of Swarm.
Okay. All right.
But that's fine.
I'll choose one because the guys got an interception and a touchdown this season. I'm going to go Sheldon Rankins.
Okay.
I think because it's easy to forget about those guys on the interior. He's played, along with Tim Settle, the most snaps on the interior this season.
Yep.
And he's made some huge plays. They both have. But I'll pick Rankins. And I'll pick Rankins because you forced me to.
Sean's having a hard time forgiving me.
Now, Pendergast is like, hey, man, I bought all this beer, but, I know you really like the St. Arnold Grand Prize. Just stick with that. It's on the left side of the fridge. Don't be dipping into my Shinerbock or
No.
anything like
What
that
I'm saying is this is a Flight by Yingling house.
A Flight by Yingling.
Stop bringing in your outside beers.
Well,
all right.
The guy is drunk.
Yeah.
I do dip into your Flight by Yingling on a routine basis in the beer fridge over there.
It's good stuff.
It is. That's why it's dwindled. Please restock.
I know. I gotta get with my peeps.
I'll go Sheldon Rankins.
Yes, Rankins is a good one.
You've got to have the interior continue to do a good job at stuffing the run. And I choose that because I already trust the edge guys in Anderson and Hunter and whatever combination of Autry and Barnett, that they bring off the edge. They've been so great at the angles and keeping everything tight and not giving opposing quarterbacks like seams to run through, or running backs for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Rankins is a big key in this one because you're not going to completely stop Jonathan Taylor. He's great this season, but you can slow him down. You can prevent him from being that guy in critical situations.
Okay. That's a good one. And Rankins had the big TFL in the Bills game on 4th and 2.
Yeah.
Where Lassiter came in and
showed up in big moments,
blew up the fullback. No, that's Rankins is a
Lassiter
good one.
on that play.
Yeah.
That was good.
This is a harder circle of swarm to do because it's all what we're hoping for, and I'm hoping for so much. I'm going to go to the offensive side of the ball on this one because this is the matchup that I'm most looking forward to. And this guy might be the swarmiest wide receiver in the NFL, just based on his lust for contact, his willingness to block, but mostly just how he has taken these Colts to the woodshed at Lucas Oil Stadium. 100 yards in both of his games there, including just an absolute monster performance in that play-in game in 2023. And for the first time as a Colt, Nico Collins is going against Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner is a Colt, obviously. So this is our first Colt. Nico's gone against him before with the Jets, but this is our first Colt Sauce Gardner game against Nico Collins. It's different. I need him to truck Sauce Gardner. I need him, and I don't care if it's blocking in the run game or in the receiving game, but preferably it's on one of those patented Nico Collins slant routes where he catches the ball, and then the first thing he looks for is 3 guys to go plow over.
Yeah.
Nico Collins is my first pick.
That's a good one. You took one of mine. I had Nico as a guy, and rightfully so. And you're looking at it from a more broader perspective and a divisional one, which is good too. I'm looking at it as from a recency bias thing. Right, 3 targets against Buffalo, 1 target in the second half. That was it for Nico Collins.
Yeah.
And that's not going to get it done against most anybody else, even with a terrific defense like the Texans. This is a divisional game. It's C.J. Stroud coming back. Like Dalton Schultz was supposed to be Stroud's, safety blanket. Nico Collins has been that, obviously, at times for C.J. as well, and I think he needs to be that on Sunday.
Yep.
All right.
Who's your second pick?
I just said it. Since you took Nico,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Dalton Schultz.
Schultz was on my list, too.
He's shown... Did I take another one?
No, I've got plenty.
This fun, though, because now you got to get creative and think a little bit. I say Schultz because he has, like Rankins, shown up in some big-time situations earlier this season, and I think similar to the Texans, like the Colts have done here recently, they're keeping guys in extra protection. I think the Texans have figured some stuff out on the offensive line, but they still have gone very heavy with that extra offensive lineman, allowing Blake Fisher to do his thing. I think Dalton Schultz, Nick Caley with Stroud coming back, he can do some things in the pass game there, in the run blocking game, maybe chip some guys, get loose in the flats, and maybe turn some stuff up for some big plays. So I'm going to go Dalton Schultz.
It's a good pick. He is tied for second right now for most Circle of Swarm selections by me and Seth this season on the team.
What does that say to you?
It says to me, it says to me they're getting their money's worth out of Dalton Schultz this year as opposed to last year.
Bingo.
2, at least a few of the times, he's made it 5 times. Will leads the team with 6 Circle of Swarm selections. Dalton Schultz is tied with Daniil Hunter with 5. I think the other thing that I know Seth and I have had a lot of respect for is he's clearly playing through a lot of stuff right now. He's banged up, Dalton Schultz, and he still answers the bell every time. And he's the leading receiver on the team right now. So, but that's the big thing. You're right, $12 million a year. This is what you got to be getting out of Dalton Schultz. So, that's a good pick. My second pick, so again, if you're just listening, Sean and I are doing a special edition of the Circle of Swarm where we're looking ahead, the most needed swarminess for the Colts game. Sean has selected Sheldon Rankins, kind of repping the interior defensive line, and Dalton Schultz. I have taken Nico Collins and a guy who I think is chomping at the bit, foaming at the mouth like a caged dog right now because he hasn't been able to hit anybody in 3 weeks. Jalen Petrie.
Let's go.
Jalen Petrie as support in the run game. Jalen Petrie in that sort of joker position they use him in, where they blitz him and get after a less mobile Daniel Jones. The part that scares me a little bit, Jalen Petrie potentially getting matched up against Tyler Warren, who's been one of the best, if not the best, tight end in football this year. But I'm here for it. I think Jalen Petrie is going to be ready to go. He had a huge pick last year in the second Colts game right before halftime. That was Anthony Richardson, not Daniel Jones. That was a huge play in that game. That was a 23-20 game, and that set up a Tank Dell touchdown right before the half last year in a game that wound up being really, really close. So Jalen Petrie, last time he played against these Colts, he did good things, and I think he's going to be ready to go. Petrie is my second choice.
That's a great pick, man.
Great
pick.
Thank you.
All right, so can we go non-player in hopeful circle of swarm here?
This guy, Colin, is just coming in, and we've got, he's
got to be a player.
This guy, no, it doesn't have to be. Of course not. It doesn't. No, it doesn't. I mean, it's always been players. This is like he just walked into church, and I said, "Hey, here's the Bible," and he just tosses it over his shoulder. He's like, here's the thing.
Let me enlighten you.
Here's what the circle of swarm should be.
Okay.
No, go ahead, do it. I'm intrigued.
Dip your toes into this water, buddy.
Okay.
Nick Caley, because this is hopeful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
This is not based off of like, hey, who had a great game this past? No, this is hopeful. I'm telling you right now, this guy Nick Caley has got to have his best game of the season on Sunday. He has to. He's getting his best weapon back, C.J. Stroud. You went 3-0 with Davis Mills, okay? You deserve a little bit of credit, okay? And Davis deserves a lot of the credit. He had to go win you a game, dive into the end zone.
Yep.
He had to get you in position for a last-second field goal. And he had to take good enough care of the football this past week because special teams flubbed it up again, gave up a 97-yarder. They gave up some explosives on defense. No, Nick Caley's got to be in his bag. We've got to see a healthy dose of Nico. We got to see C.J. Stroud, operating at his best, not asking him to do too much. We got to see him get in his bag for 4 quarters. Nothing. I'm not looking for 50-yard explosives every other series, but I'm saying Nick Caley has got to continue to show that he is improving and systematically evolving with this offense.
I agree with everything you just said. I can't wait to tell Seth that Sean Bijani picked a coordinator for the Circle of Swarm.
He is the Martin Luther to the Circle of Swarm.
He is, yes.
Great enlightenment.
Yep, great enlightenment. Bringing new thoughts and ideas to the table. Yes, yeah. All right, Nick Caley. So we've got Sheldon Rankins, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Jalen Petrie, Nick Caley. I'm going to go back a little bit more conventional, but boy, there's so many. I mean, Kamari Lassiter, Derek Stingley. This is a good receiving core for the Indianapolis Colts. Big C.J. Stroud. I mean, it's it's almost an adjunct to Nick Caley, Woody Marks. They need a big game out of Woody Marks.
If you were gonna make me pick a player, like really be hard on me and be like, hey, no, look,
you had to take a player. Who would you have taken?
I would have taken Woody Marks.
Woody Marks, yeah.
He showed up in a big-time spot against Buffalo, 4.2 yards per carry.
Yep.
And that sucker is a strong dude. Like, I am constantly impressed by him, how he keeps his legs moving through contact. I think the Texans need a repeat kind of performance from him on Sunday. So I would have taken Woody Marks.
Woody Marks is a good one.
I would pass him to you if you'd like to take Woody.
No. He's on my list. I'm struggling with, do we wind up with a circle of hope swarm that is 2/3 offensive? But I guess that would make sense since that's the side of the ball that we're concerned about.
Yeah, we're good with defense, right? You can hang your hat on them.
Yeah, and I think, Petrie coming back, and I think I like your Rankins pick. Here's who I'm going to go with. Ariante Ursary.
Ooh.
Ariante Ursary at left tackle. Liatu Latu has improved. He had a big play in the Chief game. Latu did. And that Colts defensive line, they've got to protect C.J. Stroud, the Texans do. And Ursary, I think Ursary's improvement was so evident that he had a Jacksonville game in Week 3 and a Jacksonville game in Week 10. In the Week 3 game, he allowed his guy to ruin the game. In the Week 10 game, you had Jacksonville fans afterwards going, where was Josh Hines-Allen this whole game?
Yeah.
So he's sort of representing, the same way Rankins is representing the defensive line for you, Ursary is kind of representing the offensive line for me. Because I'm being honest, probably it's probably not Ursery. It would probably be more like Titus Howard and Ed Ingram. Like your rankings, Tim Settle one would be Titus, Ed Ingram, and Andrews.
That's fair, yeah.
To keep Grover Stewart in that interior. But I'm going to go Ursery. I'm going to go Ursery because you got to protect that blind side of C.J. Stroud.
Offensive line is a great pick.
Yeah.
And you have to give them as a collective a lot of credit, too. So their new offensive line coach, Cole Popovich, give him a ton of credit, right? And I forget the assistant, my bad, dude, but shout out to you. Twice this season.
You, whose name I can't remember. I can't remember it either.
Twice. Well, you didn't know you didn't know Chris Strauzer's buddy Cole Popovich last year.
That's
until
true.
They were terrible.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh wait, how'd this guy get a raise?
Right.
No, shout out to those guys because twice this year with two different quarterbacks have they allowed 0 sacks in a football game with two different iterations of an offensive line as well.
Yep.
Never mind the quarterback situation. So offensive line, great pick by you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so there you go. Sheldon Rankins, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Jalen Petrie, Nick Caley,
yes,
Ariate Ursery.
Come on, Nick.
In our circle of hope swarm for Sunday's game against the Colts. All right, I want to circle over to college football. It feels like there's a different fan base each week coming after me for different things. And so I've got a message for one of the fan bases of our Texas teams down here, the Burnt Orange folks. I've got a message for. By the way, Rob Stone of Fox's Big Noon Kickoff is going to join us at 8 o'clock. He's in Ann Arbor for Ohio State, Michigan. So we'll get his thoughts on that game. I know a lot of Aggies, people near the top of the rankings, have their eyes on that Ohio State game. A lot of teams that are kind of in that playoff mix right now, like the Horns, are rooting for Ohio State to beat Michigan, get them out of the way as a 2-loss team. So we'll talk about that. We'll get Stoner's thoughts on some of the other games going on this weekend as well. That's at the top of the hour. Stay there.
Whole lot of great football yesterday, but some sloppy football as well. You don't have
FDIC.
Payne and Pendergast is driven by West Point Lincoln at Katy Freeway, 1 mile west of the Beltway, exit Kirkwood, under the giant American flag. It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Live from the Mokaram Injury Lawyer Studios, here's Payne and Pendergast.
All right, so I don't know, man. By the end of this whole college football playoff process, I might have everybody hating me at some point here. Now, the nice thing is for me, and for the 5 of you who are listening that don't know, I'm a proud graduate of a small parochial school in northern Indiana that fancies itself good at football, the University of Notre Dame du Lac. That is the University of Notre Dame, to the rest of you out there. And I think most people know that listen to the show. And, of course, Notre Dame is a very controversial 9th-ranked team in the country right now in the college football playoff poll because their two best games are the 2 toughest opponents they've had by ranking. They've lost. They lost to University of Miami in the opener by 3. Mm-hmm. Texas A&M, the number 3 team in the country, they lost by 1 at home in their second game of the year. They've since gone on to basically just steamroll everybody that they've played. Played a tight game against USC. I forget what week it was. USC's a ranked team. That's a good win too. They beat the hell out of Pitt. Pitt's ranked. You know, that Pitt-Miami game is a very interesting one.
Is USC 20th now, or were they 20th then?
Probably 20th. I think they were actually ranked a little lower then. They were like 23rd. But USC is a top 25 team. That's a good win.
Yeah.
They beat them by 10. So anyways, Notre Dame, if they beat Stanford tomorrow, they're likely going to go to the playoff. It's been fun because I've been sort of aligned with the Aggies this season because once a team beats you, you're really rooting for them to do what the Aggies have done, which is win out. And it's got a little dicey here and there. That South Carolina game got a little that was a sweat for sure. Mm-hmm. But credit them for coming back from being down 27 at the half. But a few weeks ago, before the BYU-Texas Tech game, all these BYU people coming out of the woodwork at me like, hey, we used to be independent like you. Now we have some balls, so we joined a conference. And then they lose, so they disappear. And all of a sudden, Texas Tech took the baton from them. And even Texas Tech's head coach is like, yeah, we respect BYU because they play a normal schedule, not like one of these teams, and you guys know who I'm talking about. And I'm like, say our name, Joey Maguire. Say our name.
Fired. Yeah.
So, and Texas Tech continues to win. They seem to have gotten off of that now. I encouraged Red Raiders a couple weeks ago. I'm like, this isn't the fight. Go fight. You guys are ahead of us right now. What are you worried about? And we've never impeded you before.
Right.
This is the first year you've been relevant.
You're 5, man. What are you worrying about us for?
Since I lost all my hair. So there's that. Now here come the Longhorns. And the thing that got all the social media smoke for me over the weekend, there was a tweet from someone at Nash Talks Texas on Twitter. Texas comes in at number 16. The committee is sending a clear message that losing an out-of-conference game will not only hurt, but potentially kill your chances. A 9-2 Texas team with losses to Florida and Georgia would be in the top 12. And so basically they're saying if we didn't play Ohio State, if we just scheduled Samford like A&M did this past week. Now, A&M played Notre Dame also. But if they just played a patsy instead of Ohio State, then they'd be 9-2 and they would be in the playoff right now. And this is I have multiple messages here for Longhorns out there, and I tried to convey it over the weekend, and I had so many of them telling me how stupid I am about this. But number one, not all losses are created equal, and I think the committee has told us that. You can't just go with losses to Florida and Georgia, blanket statement, and say we'd be in the playoffs. You need to point out that Florida sucks. They're 3-8. Mm-hmm. You also need to point out you got housed by Georgia. You didn't lose by 1.
45-10?
35-10.
Yeah.
You lost by 25 points. So let's not act like those 2 losses are in any way equal to the 2 losses. Sure, Alabama lost to Florida State. We can debate that, discuss it. I can tell you right now, Notre Dame's 2 losses look way better than your 2 losses. If you're saying they should be ahead of Notre Dame, you're insane right now. Because here's the other thing. Your wins have not been all that great. You beat Kentucky by 3. Mm-hmm. You were lucky to come back against Mississippi State and beat them by 3. Even what I would call your second best win, Vanderbilt, your best win is clearly against OU. You dominated that game 23-6. I'll give you that. even Vanderbilt, you were up 34-10, and you let them cover the spread. You gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter, and they were an onside kick bobble away from having a chance to either tie or win that game.
Right.
Your Ohio State loss that you're so upset about and that you are so verklempt that you scheduled this game is your third best data point in your case for making the playoffs right now. The rest of your data points, by and large, suck. Your losses are awful. Some of your wins are terrible. You've got a 55-0 win, sorry, Colin, over Sam Houston that doesn't mean squat. You beat San Jose State, and they hung around with you for a while. So let's not act like all these 9-2s are equal, and because you're Texas, you would be above Notre Dame and Alabama or even Oklahoma, who you beat. Because the committee has shown us that head-to-head don't mean all that much to them because Notre Dame is ahead of Miami
Why
right
is this
now.
a Texas versus Notre Dame thing? Notre Dame is 9, Texas is 16 right now.
But they're saying if they were 9-2, they would be in the playoff right
But
now.
I don't know that to be the case.
I don't think it is.
And I'm with you.
Yeah.
And let's see if you agree with, my data point selection here, because you take your Irish, they lost by 3 and they lost by 1 the first 2 games of the season,
Right.
Miami and Texas A&M respectively, both ranked opponents.
Right.
Okay? So it's not about what you've done for me recently. It's about the collective, and as you said, they've steamrolled fellas, on their way. Look at what Texas has done as their collective. You mentioned, the 35-10 a couple of weeks ago. Going to overtime back-to-back weeks against now below 500 Kentucky and Mississippi State teams, that doesn't help their case.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've gone now 4 straight games, let's see what A&M does today, could be 5, 4 straight games where Texas's defense has allowed 31 or more points.
Yeah.
That is not a great case. Even if you did say, eradicate Ohio State from their schedule and put in some slap, okay? Add an extra win to them. They don't hopscotch Notre Dame.
No.
There's no way. Maybe they're in the play. The question becomes about all right, well, who's 10, 11, and 12?
Right.
Let's talk about those teams. Don't worry about top 10 and getting to those depths.
Alabama's in there right now. Miami is in that mix right now. BYU's a one-loss team that's in that mix right now. I just think Longhorn fans are taking way too much of a 30,000-foot view of their non-Ohio State schedule. Just going, we lost to Florida and Georgia. Yeah, they're cool-looking helmets, but Florida's 3-8 this year.
Yeah.
And Georgia, you didn't belong on the same field with Georgia in that game. The Ohio State game that you are so upset over that your administration decided to schedule it is doing more good than harm for you right now.
Agreed. Yeah.
You lost by 1 score to the number 1 team in the country in the opening game of the season.
They won it all too fast, I think, too. I mean, you're talking about the 30,000-foot view.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring you back into this, little circle here and just show you, make you realize y'all haven't been that good the last month.
Yes.
On the collective.
Yeah.
And if you think you belong in the top 10, you can't be giving up 31-plus points and playing all these close games.
No.
Regardless of who it's against. You have to have some really convincing victories, especially when you convincingly got your ass whooped, by a Georgia earlier this year.
Let's stick with college football. Rob Stone is the host of Big Noon Kickoff. They're up in Ann Arbor this weekend for the huge Ohio State-Michigan game. Weird dynamic with some of these games. I think Texas and Texas A&M have a similar dynamic where the higher-ranked team is playing the spoiler potentially in this 12-team college football playoff. I want to talk about that with Rob Stone and a whole lot more, so we'll talk some college football coming up next.
This holiday season, not only can you
HD2 Houston. Insider access, exclusive content. Sports Radio 610. The Texans play here. An Odyssey sports station. It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Here's Payne and Pendergast.
Oh, yeah, it is. Football Friday, man. We got football starting up this morning later on, college football. We got college football tomorrow. We got the Texans at noon on Sunday. You can hear that game right here on Sports Radio 610. Seth Payne and I have you for Texans Countdown beginning at 9 a.m., and then Clint Stoerner and I have you for Texans postgame, following what we hope is a win over the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. Sean Bijani in for Seth Payne today here on a Football Friday, and we got a ton of college, ton of pro to get to. Just went off on the Longhorns a bit. I haven't had a chance to check the text page yet. So that's when you don't want to look at the text page, you look to your friends, you look to your blood.
Yeah.
Tapping my elbow like Triple H right now back in the day, Stoner. Reforming Degeneration X. We welcome in Rob Stone, the host of Big Noon Kickoff, joining us here live from Ann Arbor, which leads me to my first question, Stoner. First, happy Thanksgiving to you and to your family, of course. Are you going to find a way to get in front of a screen for Survivor Series tomorrow?
I know. It's killing me. I live in L.A. and it's being down in San Diego. I'm like, what time do I get home?
Yeah.
When does it start? It's Cena's last. Screw it. It's his last pay-per-view. I'm still calling him pay-per-view, Sean.
Me too.
Don't make me call whatever the hell the normal term is now.
Right.
The prime whatever event. It's a pay-per-view, brother. You and I were at the first PPV down in what town were we in?
It was WrestleMania 3.
Torrington,
Connecticut, the Warner Theater. We watched it on closed circuit TV in a movie theater. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
That's an amazing job not outdating ourselves. Good work. We're still very relevant.
Stoner, I still have the ticket stub from it. It was $10.
I know. I remember you seeing that. By the way, and you were talking about Triple H. My algorithm is just so jacked up with wrestling. It's insane. Like I'm almost embarrassed. Like when I try to go to bed and put my phone away, but then I just do a little doom scroll.
Yeah.
There's like so many Stone Cold Steve Austin entrances, surprise returns, and like they've got me figured out. They've got me totally hooked.
They algoed you, as the kids like to say.
Stupid wrestling.
Is there anybody in the Big Noon Kickoff crew that's a wrestling fan that you can bond with, or are you kind of a man on an island right now?
I am slightly on my own, but you know what? Like Bear and Mark Ingram, they'll appease me once in a while. They could run to an event with me. I've dragged Urban and Matt and Brady, and they get it, but they don't get it, and they kind of keep looking at me. I'm like, guys, hold on. Like, you don't like The Rock could be here today, right? We could hear. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking out of nowhere? That makes it a day. That makes it a year, right? So just hang with me. You and I are the wrestling nerds.
No, I know. Yeah, look, if you and I were living anywhere close to each other, we'd be going to all of them together. Look, so we're going to talk college. We're going to talk college football in a second. What was Urban Meyer like at a WWE event? I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, it was cool. It was years ago, and it was right when Fox had gotten WWE, and it was like one of their first, if not their first, SmackDown, and it was in downtown LA, and it was the night before we had a big broadcast, and they wanted us to go, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, we're going to be there. But I do remember sitting on the floor and looking to my right, and Coach was right next to me, and he had his iPad up, and he was scrolling through some football plays and some things. And I was like, Coach, this isn't working, man. Like, come on, brother. Like, just give me 10 more minutes. Give me one more match. He was like, what are we doing, Rob? Rob, what are we doing here? We got to go. Rob, what are we doing? I'm like, I got it.
It seems like a guy who just I gotta get back to my ball plays here, man. I gotta go.
Exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious. Rob Stone, host of Big Noon Kickoff, joining us. So Stoner, you're up in Ann Arbor, and Sean and I were just talking about the strange dynamic, and I feel like this is a 12-team playoff dynamic, because I think A&M and UT, there's a similar thing going on where, and I definitely think this is the case up there. Like if Ohio State loses this game, it'll suck for them because that'll be 5 years in a row they've lost a rivalry game. But they're in the playoff. Like there's nothing that's going to get Ohio State eliminated from a 12-team playoff. So now it's weird where you've got the number one team in the country that can kind of play spoiler in this game for Michigan, because Michigan wins this, and all of a sudden the conversation starts to get really interesting about them.
Yeah, with the fact that the committee moved Michigan up 3 spots this week, they were within reaching distance of a playoff spot. But they too may not get to the Big Ten championship game. I think the outsiders, we look at things like, oh, you know what? Maybe having the weekend off is a good thing, right? Get stronger, rebuild. You don't have to play in the Big Ten championship game. Indiana, we expect will take care of business today and get to the Big Ten, and then it's open to Oregon, Ohio State, and Michigan. And if Oregon doesn't go, I think they're like this team that's got a ton of momentum, and they get that Big Ten weekend off. They get healthy and healed for what will probably be a home playoff game. But if you're Ohio State coach, I'm sorry, I'm calling you coach. I'm thinking Jonathan Coachman. If you're Ohio State right now, man, the Wolverines are between the ears. Right? I mean, like they've ingrained themselves. They've wormed their way in there. And I think they're just kind of messing with Ohio State Nation right now because nobody saw this run coming. Remember, it was a monstrous run by Ohio State until things started turning around, roughly about 5 years ago. So this winning streak by Michigan, how they've gone about it, particularly last year in Columbus with the Buckeyes being over a 20-point favorite, there is something tangible out there that says Michigan has got your number mentally right now. And I think you can feel it in the towns. I think you can feel it kind of reading the nonverbals between the sound bites and the things that people are saying. And, Ohio State is saying all the right things, but they're saying it in context of, we got to get over this hump, right? I know we're number one. I know we're unbeaten. I know we're the defending champs. But with this rivalry still hanging over our heads as long as it has, I think it plays a part in Ryan Day's thinking. I think it plays a part in offensive play calling and defensive play calling. I just think it is in Ohio State's head, and I think that's all that matters. They know they're going, to your point, to the playoffs, but they need to get there with the momentum of getting this Michigan monkey off their back.
Rob, you're talking about like tangible things, right? Like Michigan, if they were able to get this win, I feel like they'd almost be assured a spot in the CFP, but
I don't think so. I understand your point, and this would be a very valuable win for sure. But like, how much is it going to bump them up, right? And then if everything falls away and they can get to the Big Ten championship game and then get another win, then I would feel a lot better.
Yeah.
If I was the Michigan Brass, right?
Yeah.
That just gives them a little bit more to work on. But the committee has been, I guess, somewhat reluctant to make pretty substantial jumps. Like, I thought Michigan going up 3 this week was a big jump. There was Oregon's win, home win, a ranked win last week, only bumped them up 1 spot, just kind of flip-flop with Ole Miss. So they didn't give them a ton of credit for that. So I guess it depends just how highly do they value this Ohio State team to say, hey, Michigan, you're worthy of 4 or 5 spots. Now, listen, the Big Ten commissioner and the Big Ten ADs are going to be hammering, saying, oh, my God, look how strong our conference is now. Like, the Big Ten desperately wants more than just 3 teams into the college football playoffs, especially when you're looking at SEC that's probably sitting there at 5 right now.
No, that's totally fair.
I don't think it's enough, Sean, but I definitely think it's enough to get them up there, and they are doing some hardcore scoreboard watching. And for the most part, like, the watching and the results need to fall their way this weekend, because in theory, teams should not be punished for reaching their conference championship game the next weekend, right? Like an SEC championship game, the loser should not have a fall because they earned their right to get up there. Like, somebody who didn't play should not ask them next week. So that's why I feel like the chaos has to be right here, right now for Michigan.
All right, the chaos. How chaotic does Michigan have to make things for Ohio State in this game? Do they have to muck the game up, make this about a really physical battle at the line of scrimmage for them to be able to pull something like that off?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Michigan is, Sean, right? They are a physical team, and that's how they've been winning it. They're so, you guys look at like the stats and the numbers that come out, whether, you're prepping for the Texans or whoever it is. And sometimes I think we can get kind of trapped in the numbers where we're like, oh, this is so interesting and sexy. And then you're like, is it really? But then when you look at this, the team to win the rushing battle in this game has won the last 23 meetings. right? That's a substantial number. That's not a fluke. That's not like 4 out of 6, right? Or 5 out of 7. The last 23 editions of the game have been won by the team that has won the rushing battle. Michigan, they've outrushed the Buckeyes, guys, by almost 500 total yards during this current 4-game winning streak. So, listen, I know teams change, rosters change. Ohio State's got 2 new coordinators essentially this season. Everything changes, but that doesn't change, right? There is that mentality in the Michigan locker room where they are saying right now, we are going to outrun you, which means, to your point, Sean, we are going to out-physical you. Last year it was Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant up front for Michigan on the defensive line, which won the game for them in Columbus. Plain and simple. Those 2 studs, those 2 first-rounders, they won the game for Michigan in Columbus last year. Do the Wolverines have those dudes this year? Does Ohio State have the guys up front? Can that true freshman tailback, Bo Jackson, what an amazing name, by the way. I mean, like the gall and the audacity of the parents to name their kid Bo Jackson, like, hey, son, don't fail, right? Because your name is Bo Jackson. Like you have no choice. You cannot be a scholarly kid. You cannot be in the band and your name is Bo Jackson. You have to be a football player and you have to run really hard and get it to Ohio State. So again, there is so much talent at the quarterback positions, 2 really young, talented quarterbacks, and Underwood and Sand, who have never played in the game. How are they going to react to things? But in the end, it's the big uglies up front, and who's going to win that rushing battle?
We're talking to Rob Stone, host of Big Noon Kickoff. Yeah, Ohio State is a really interesting number 1 team, Rob, just because of how uninteresting they've been this year. I can't remember a number 1 team. I know you probably made a trip or 2 to Columbus this year doing Big Noon Kickoff, so you guys have been immersed in it, but they've been so dominant, especially defensively all year. This is what I wonder. I wonder if this thing if this thing is still like competitive. It's a field goal game early in the 4th quarter. Is this something where this Ohio State team, because of the lack of competitive games that they've been in this year, that maybe Michigan is a little bit more comfortable in that situation?
Yeah, it's been a methodical type march for the Buckeyes, kind of stormtroopers, right? Like one goes down and Jesus, there's another stormtrooper around the corner. Like, do these stormtroopers ever end? Is there a never-ending supply of stormtroopers coming out of Ohio State? And guess what? Yeah. So they've kind of stormtroopered their way through the season. And the one thing that they haven't seen is adversity, right? And what's going to happen when that adversity finally shows up in front of their face? Is that pressure going to grow? And are the coaches, is Ryan Day and company going to have their brain going, oh no, here it comes again, right? Oh boy, here comes that run. Oh boy, here's a 3 and out on our offense. We can't have this. The memory bank will start kicking in again. So I think the mental warfare is incredible in this one. And that is the big question for the guys, how they handle this adversity. Listen, they're dealing with it right now, right? They're dealing with it at Michigan week inside the Woody Hayes Center in the locker room all week. They know what the questions are. They know how long it's been since they last beat Michigan. I mean, it's crazy to think that it's been, come tomorrow, 2,191 days since they last beat Michigan. 2,191 days. That is, like, I say that to Urban, and he just looks at me. He's like, "That's AI. That's fake." I'm like, "No, coach, it's not. That is math. That is 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. You just keep adding them. It's 2,191 days since your program last beat Michigan." So, again, I think it's really how the young QBs handle it on both sides of the ball. Yeah. Who wins the battle up front, and just how mentally strong is this Ohio State team? Because we know Michigan is. They've got the mental advantage here at home, a packed big house with all these eyeballs on them, and another opportunity to really be that old school fly in the ointment to the Buckeye season.
All right, Rob, so you're in Ann Arbor for the big game. Around these parts, Texas A&M tonight. We were just talking about it, and, you disagree with me and you make some great points. I said if Michigan gets the dub, I think it's enough for them to get a CFP. What do you think a Texas win over A&M tonight, if that were to happen, what would that mean for them? And then talk to us a little bit about, like, this spread. I'm a little miffed. It's a 2.5-point spread in this one tonight. Aggies have scored 30-plus every single game, but the Auburn game this season, while Texas's defense, they've allowed 30-plus points, and much more so in the last month or so.
Yeah, again, Texas, only up 1 spot to number 16. So they're tucked in right behind Michigan. So that's why I'm kind of saying that those guys are in that in that pool where it might be a little too much for them to dig out. And that 3 losses for Texas doesn't help at all. A&M to me is fascinating, guys. 4th straight week they've been sitting there at number 3. And I can't remember an SEC program that's been undefeated that has gotten less talk about at this stage of the calendar than this Texas A&M team. And, I think if I'm down in College Station, I'm like, perfect. Let's just keep it this way. Like, let nobody be talking about us. Let them continue to talk about the Big 2 and the Big 10, Indiana, Ohio State. Let them talk about, is Alabama worthy and how good is this Georgia team? Just talk about anybody but Texas A&M. And Mike Elko will be a happy man, because I think this A&M team is one of probably about 3, maybe 4 that actually has a chance to win the national title, right? I love the 12-team playoff. I'm going to love it more when it expands. But when you look at the 12 teams that are potentially good, and you really want to say, hey, who are my main eventers, Sean? Like, let's go back to wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are really the main eventers in the college football playoffs right now? I'm putting A&M in that tiny handful. I'm putting the Buckeyes in there. I'm putting Georgia in there, and I think Oregon as well. I think Indiana and Texas Tech are awesome stories. I'm fascinated by them. I love how they've gone about their business, whether it's this year and building into this year, but I just don't think they're quite ready for prime time yet. They're kind of like the early Jordan Bulls that needed to take those losses to the Pistons or to the Celtics to kind of finally get over that hump. Like, we know you're good, but you still haven't gotten to that point to prove to everybody that you're that good. Right now, the teams that are that good, again, Buckeyes, Aggies, Bulldogs, and I think the Ducks.
Rob Stone, big.
And you're right. The spread is tight. Sorry about that, Sean. I know you care about the spread. I'm a spreadless guy. I don't care about that stuff. But it does seem thin, and I think there is some real trust in what Texas has built the last couple of weeks, and with what Arch has been able to do to kind of finally find his game.
Hey, Stoner, before we get you out of here, I'm curious because you got Brady Quinn on the set there, one of my fellow Domers. Where do you come out on the whole Notre Dame, Miami? Hey, Miami beat them, but why is Notre Dame ahead of them? And more importantly, where does Brady come out on that?
Well, Brady comes out pro Notre Dame on everything, so don't worry about that.
Okay,
so Notre Dame clearly deserves to be number 9, if not higher, frankly, after crushing
it's my guy
last week.
Love you, Brady.
It's going to be a fascinating debate. Here, my assumption is, and pretty much how it takes place every year, is that things are going to work themselves out, Sean, right? Like, in the end, we're not going to have this great debate. Some result is going to make it obvious for us that either Notre Dame or Miami both belong, both don't belong, or only one of them does. I just feel that the results are going to work that way out. However, if they don't, I give head-to-head tons of value, for sure, right? Like, there's no greater way to say, well, which team is better? Oh, you won the game, so you are better. But if I asked any of you right now, like here we are, last Saturday in November, what team is better? What team would you not want to see your team playing right now? It's Notre Dame. Yeah. Notre Dame is a better team right now than Michigan, whether it's the eye test or the numbers, whatever you want to say. But right now, if all things are even, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's Notre Dame. And clearly, with the rankings and where everybody is, again, Notre Dame, 3 straight weeks sitting there at number 9, the committee values Notre Dame over Miami. Miami's going to take a hit for not, at least right now on paper, not making it to the ACC championship game. There's a chance, but a ton have to fall their way. So I think Notre Dame is in. It's clear that they're in right now because that's the way the playoff committee has them. But it's football weird world, man.
It is.
I don't value Miami that much. I think Notre Dame's a team that's going to go dancing again.
That's why he's one of my very best friends, people. Rob Stone, Big Noon Kickoff. That was the right answer, Stoner, just so you know.
Yeah. We talked wrestling, Notre Dame. Anything else we need to talk about? Your old the Brown Duster. Do we need to talk about the Duster?
They know about the Brown Duster. Yeah. My first car, Sean Bijani, in 1974 Plymouth. It was technically a gold duster, but its color was poop brown. So I don't know what was gold about it.
Oh, Lord.
It was a good bowel movement.
It was a solid gold bowel movement of a car. Stoner, you're the best, man. Have a great show tomorrow. We'll be watching Big Noon Kickoff. This is a jumbo version of Big Noon Kickoff, is it not?
3 hours, man.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 hours. We got Tom Brady, Charles Woodson, Gronk is going to be here. Rascal Flats. We got all kinds of chaos going. I don't know what's going to happen.
I love the interactions with you and Gronk. Those crack me up. That you're sitting there talking to Rob Gronkowski. It just it tickles me.
Dude's a monster. He's a friggin' giant. Like I hang out with Matt and Brady. I'm like, these are big bosses, right? Like, these are big dudes. People don't realize how big Matt Leinart and Brady Quinn are. And then Gronk rolls in, and I'm like, Gronk is punking those dudes, man. He is just a rectangular of humanity, just this crazy piece of USAA propaganda over there. He's done a hell of a job, man. He's awesome.
He's great. Yeah, no, you guys are awesome. The show is great. Big noon kickoff. What time tomorrow does it get started here in Texas, Central Time, Stoner?
7 a.m. your time. He made me do some math. By the way, go Frogs.
7 a.m.?
TCU's big basketball win? Yeah. Whoa. We're on at 9. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Okay, yeah. I was like,
8
wow.
8 a.m. your time.
I mean, I'd still be up.
Math is hard, Sean. You know that. Math is hard.
I know. That was not Rob's strong
I got to subtract 1 off of 9? That's hard.
That's huge. That's public education, man. We went to the public school, Stoner. We don't know how to do the simple arithmetic.
The mean streets of Simsbury, Connecticut, baby.
Hard Scrabble is what I tell the people here, Rob, and they roll their eyes at 4
as they should.
You have no idea what it was like to live at 4 Winterset Lane back in the day, all right? Just so you know. Rob Stone, big noon kickoff. Stoner, have a great show tomorrow. Safe travels.
Thanks, buddy.
Hope you make it back for Survivor Series. Love you, man. Appreciate you.
You got to see you guys.
All right, thanks. Rob Stone joining us here on the program.
He's awesome.
That's my dude, man. Rob Stone. All right, let's. We went over with him a little bit, but let's do 5 Reasons I Hate You coming up in the next segment. Colts edition of 5 Reasons I Hate You. Sean Bijani in for Seth Payne. I'm Sean Pendergast. Let's also get you guys some Liqueur 43. Holiday season. You know what would be a great gift for some folks?
is driven by West Point Lincoln of Sugar Land on the Southwest Freeway. Exit Kirkwood and take the first U-turn at West Airport under the giant American flag. It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Here's Payne and Pendergast.
All right, Payne and Pendergast with you. Someone just said, wait, that was Rob Stone? Yes, that was Rob Stone. He was just on with us. Big thanks to Stoner. Big noon kickoff. He hosts it alongside Brady Quinn and Matt Leinart, Texans legend Mark Ingram. I text Stoner all the time. I'm, hey, man, Texans legend Mark Ingram, that I said hello. And I make sure that he says Texans legend. What, Ingram was there for like 5 games, something like that? And he got up and out of here?
Yeah.
Back in the Cully year?
Yeah. That's right.
Those are good times, man.
What's weirder to think about? I always like to think about like random Houston athletes, and we're having this conversation a while back. It's like, who played more games, Carmelo Anthony or Vin Baker? Like, those guys were Rockets.
Baker was a Rocket?
Yeah, you know.
Vin Baker, I saw Vin Baker play in college at the University of Hartford.
Yeah, well, when I think of Vin Baker, I think of like Seattle Supersonic Vin Baker.
Of course.
Not
a good
Houston Rocket.
Even Milwaukee Buck Vin Baker.
Exactly,
you know? Like,
exactly. But might be a good Houston sports trivia question. Who was a member of a Houston professional sports franchise longer, Carmelo Anthony or Mark Ingram?
Yeah, I think Melo played like 10 games. I think he played.
I don't even know if he made it to double digits.
Yeah,
he was here for a little while.
I'm going to go Melo and not feel great about it. That's my answer.
Now, I asked the question because I don't know the answer either.
Yeah, I don't either. Look it up for us. Yeah, Colin's already in there Googling or whatever. All right, tell us after 5 reasons I hate you, Colin. We'll the little trivia question. 5 reasons I hate you, Colts edition. We'll rapid fire this. Number 5. We do this every Friday, by the way, to work up sufficient hatred and vitriol for the Texans' opponent this weekend. Number 5, their offensive coordinator's name is Jim Bob Cooter. If your name is Jim Bob Cooter, you are either a mechanic in rural Tennessee, you are living in a deer blind somewhere, Appalachia. You're not a highly paid. You're certainly the word coordinator is not in your title at all. If your name is Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah,
you're
coordinator
not
of no kind.
Coordinating, I don't know what you're coordinating, but you are not coordinating an NFL offense if your name is Jim Bob Cooter, and he's been around a while now.
Yeah.
He was a quarterback at Tennessee back in the day. Boy, big shock. He played in Knoxville with the name Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't take somebody seriously in a position of influence and leadership whose name is Jim Bob Cooter. Can you imagine if you were out in the working world? How far would you get in the real world? If you were a young Jim Bob Cooter, James Robert Cooter. How quick are you changing your name to James Robert Cooter? I mean, Cooter's already a tough last name to overcome. But you throw a Jim Bob in front of there, that puts a ceiling on where you can get to in life, I feel like.
I don't know. I mean, NFL owner, there's some doozies up there too, right? Like, we got a Calhoun as an owner.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty country.
That is very, but it's not Jim Bob.
No, it's not Jim Bob.
Nor is it Cooter.
We should be used to the Jim Bob thing. I just realizing now he's been in the AFC South for like 4 years now.
He's been around a while, and he has been on 5 Reasons I Hate You, maybe a record time for individual based on his name, Jim Bob Cooter. All right, that's reason number 5. Reason number 4, and you guys know if you listen this season, my new thing with 5 Reasons I Hate You is I look at the opposing team's website, and I go to the section on their website that has their, like, Hall of Fame or Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Every team's got a section that honors its great players. Mm-hmm. But what I have seen, and the Colts are not alone in this, they're just the latest, is that teams do this thing where they claim Hall of Famers that played for 3 games for them.
Yeah.
Or they became a Hall of Famer after they left that place. Or they were a Hall of Famer before they got there, and they got there for one last season. Like the Seahawks claiming Jerry Rice as a Hall of Famer on their page. Jerry Rice played like a half a season for the Seahawks. Jerry Rice played for the Seahawks.
I totally blanked on that.
He played for the Seahawks, and they claim him on their Hall of Fame
I'm looking
page.
at you like you have 3 heads right now.
Yes.
I was like, wow.
It's bad enough that he played for the Seahawks, but that they claim him as one of their Hall of Famers. The Indianapolis Colts, 2 things. 1, Bill Polian is a Hall of Famer. I just don't like Bill Polian because of his stupid overtime rule.
Yeah.
He was the reason it went from 15 down to 10.
Yeah.
Stupid rule.
Yep.
But they claim Marshall Faulk on their Hall of Fame
That's
page.
what gets it for you?
That's what gets it for me because Marshall Faulk did not like being an Indianapolis Colt, and the Colts didn't really like weren't all that fond of Marshall Faulk, and they eventually traded him to the Rams for a 2 and a 5.
Yeah.
They got rid of him.
But I didn't know he didn't like being an Indianapolis Colt, but the reason why I'm like, that's what gets it for you is because, well, he was drafted by them, and he had like 3 1,000-yard-plus seasons for them.
He's in the Hall of Fame because of the
year
greatest show on turf.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why he's in there. He ain't in there for what went on with the Colts.
No, but I mean, he was there for 4 or 5 years. Right?
Them claiming somebody who didn't want to be there is what is where it gets me. All right?
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I didn't realize that one.
There was a little bit of vitriol.
By the way, shout out to Marshall Faulk. I don't know if it's officially been announced, but I saw the report this weekend that he's going to be the next head coach at Southern University.
Yeah, he was on Coach Prime's staff in Colorado. He is, right? He's
running back coach.
Yeah, in Colorado. Yeah, he's getting Southern University, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the latest former NFL player to get a head coaching gig.
I like keeping track of those guys as much as possible. The
Michael
ones that get those jobs.
Ed Reed had Bethune-Cookman for a little bit, but then he bailed.
He got canned.
Yeah,
didn't he?
Oh, did he get canned? I just remember he was putting up videos about how horrible the campus and the facilities were.
He either got canned or they were just bad. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of the two.
The canning might be coming.
You're right. Oh, good for Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
But we still hate the Colts for claiming him. Number 3, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee Show continuing to make it a Colts sidecar magazine style show from time to time, where it was bad enough when he was making that when the Colts sucked. Now that they're good, and I like the Pat McAfee Show as an entity.
Yeah, I do too.
But the Colts thing, man, I'm glad J.J. Watt. That's why they need to win this game.
Gives him a shot, right? Because he allows J.J. to give the Texans perspective.
He does, but this is 5 reasons I hate you, not 5 reasons I tolerate you.
Fair.
So that J.J. This is another reason we need them to win, so that J.J. can come in all fancy and zesty with his elbows swinging back and forth like Vince McMahon, strutting down to the ring.
He gets to walk in like Ric Flair.
Yeah, Ric Flair, man. Yeah, absolutely. So Pat McAfee, you're number 3 on the list. Number 2, this isn't a Colts thing as much as it is an Indianapolis thing, but Indianapolis is the home of the NFL Combine.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to the NFL Combine before. I've been to Indianapolis several times.
Mm-hmm.
Never been to the Combine before. But the Combine doubles as sort of a boondoggle for all the NFL people to get together and eat at St. Elmo's and go out at night and go drinking. And they sit there for a little while with their stopwatches and whatnot and do their interviews. But a lot of times it's more of a social thing. A couple of years ago, there was a lot of smoke that they might move the Combine from Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, to L.A., because that's where the NFL has sort of created its little campus out there, or maybe, Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
And all these NFL people who love going to Indy probably have their little steakhouses and restaurants, or they've got their connects and everything.
Yeah.
They all took to Twitter to campaign to keep the Combine in Indianapolis. And I'm like, do you know who your audience is? Other than people in Indy, nobody gives a rip where the Combine is.
Mm-hmm.
Stop white knighting for the city of Indianapolis, all right? Field Yates, and Ian Rappaport, and everybody.
That's a good one. And I'm glad you put that in there because I have long thought, and I don't know how you feel about this. I think people would care about where the Combine is if it was not just relocated to another destination for the next 30 years.
Oh, they moved it around a little bit.
If they treated the NFL Combine like they do the NFL Draft, and it's like in different, host cities every year, and it goes to all of the NFL markets.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even relegate it like they do the Super Bowl. You only get this if you have a new stadium, and we're going to do a 5-city rotation kind of a thing. No, it's the NFL Combine. How exciting would it be if, you got to get that event in your city every once in a while? That'd be cool.
I like where your head's at on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the Combine were coming to Houston, would his media members, would we all go? We probably would go to it. It's become a big thing.
Oh, my God. Absolutely we would go.
Well, I mean, we would. But again, the Combine is equally, it feels like for media, it's equal parts social event and actual NFL event.
Yeah.
So I'm here for all the social stuff for sure. But I think I would. I'd go and watch all the drills and everything.
How excited we get for the draft. You get to see these guys in your city. To me, that is a win. That is a win for the NFL.
Yeah. It's a good idea. They should make you commissioner of the NFL.
Thank you, sir. At least special advisor.
Get that Goodell. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like Like what Peter Dinklage. Did you watch Game of Thrones back in the day?
I did not.
Okay.
Shame.
I'm not surprised. You don't strike me as a Game of Thrones guy.
I didn't have HBO like when it was like a hit.
Yeah.
And now I do. I'm so behind. I'm like,
when you're busy, too. It's hard to binge watch things when you're busy, you know?
I've had 2 shows in my entire life.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Okay.
That's eaten up like 20 years of my life.
Yeah. I love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, I tell people, the only series that got better with every season. Every season was better than the previous one. I love it. All right, let's get to number 1. 5 reasons I hate you. Seth DeFlo Erskines, Colts superfan, who drops a new ditty every week.
This is the guy I was talking about.
Yeah. I forgot about him. You reminded me of him. Great job by you to remind me of him.
Special advisor.
He is the best consigliere in any business, not just this business. Seth the Flo Erskines. Y'all know who he is. This is a Colts superfan who makes up songs like this. This is for the Chiefs last week.
Hey, watch out for the Smithies! Yeah, gotcha! This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Chiefs. Mahomes can't beat us. This is our team. Go Colts.
Okay, so those of you who don't know, it's the same song every week. He just mad-libs in the opponent's name, and then that one line where he goes, the Chiefs can't beat us, or Mahomes can't beat us. So he changes that one line every week. So the Texans we got to keep eyes, Colin, on the interwebs to see if he drops. He drops them every Friday morning before the next Colts game. So his burn on the Texans should be coming pretty soon.
I'm glad you included this one because this is of utmost importance why the Texans need to beat the Colts on Sunday. Is if the Colts win, this guy's going to be incredibly obnoxious. If you don't think he is already, it's going to be the worst.
Seth the Flo Erskines. Those are 5 reasons I hate you. All right, up next, Diana Rossini, in her kind of little nugget tidbit column, just threw one out there that sounds like this is the first order of business for the Texans as soon as the league year begins. Should it be? What's it going to look like? We will tell you what it is coming up next.
Hey, this time of year, not only do you get to watch a whole bunch of extra football on this holiday weekend, but you get some incredible deals at Easy Honda, where they are having the biggest savings of the year.
Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Live from the Mokaram Injury Lawyer Studios, here's Payne and Pendergast.
Payne and Pendergast with you. All right, top of the hour. We have a lot of people, and this gives you an idea. Like, it's a holiday week, so not everybody got to listen to every show this week. Because most weeks, everybody listens to every hour and every minute of this show. But we've got a few texts. Hey, Take a Mania, top of the hour, right? Because you guys are going to play Kendrick Perkins' take on Shedeur, right? We had Take a Mania. I'm not going to spoil it for everybody. We did Take a Mania on Wednesday this week because Seth is the judge and jury of Take a Mania. But we will do a Take a Mania rewind. And I promise you, you will hear Kendrick Perkins' take on Shedeur Sanders in that segment. I'm not going to tell you
Let's go. I'm looking
who the
forward
new
to it.
champ is or anything like that. But I will tell you, you will hear it at the top of the hour. So we'll do a Take a Mania rewind at the top of the hour. Hey, and we're going to get heavy into the Colts in the 9 o'clock hour, too, just so you guys know. I know a lot of you are coming to the store today for college football and for the Colts and the Texans. We've been a little college heavy this hour. If you missed it, Rob Stone from Big Noon Kickoff joined us earlier this hour. Use the Odyssey Rewind feature. That was a fun conversation with Stoner. We'll dive deep on the college football, NFL football schedules, and the Texans and the Colts in the 9 o'clock hour. One side note on the Texans, and this is from Diana Rossini of The Athletic, who has her, her little nugget notebook she does every week. Mm-hmm. Diana does a good job. So she's got a bunch of things in here about Baker Mayfield and Aaron Rodgers, Patriots, are they for real? What's going on in Las Vegas? And then, boom, little bullet point right at the end of all of it. The Houston Texans defense might be the best in football right now. Agreed. And a lot of that is thanks to Will Anderson Jr. Expect Houston and the third-year edge rusher to get right to a contract extension once the season wraps. I don't think there's anything revolutionary about this take. I think we
were anticipating.
Well, I think we all saw it coming the day they traded up to get him in the draft. Mm-hmm. That as long as he reasonably lives up to what the expectations are, he's a guy that they want around for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And he is, I would submit, he's getting to a stage where he's even exceeding those expectations now. Will Anderson Jr. in year 3 is rapidly putting his name alongside the best in football. He's not Myles Garrett yet. He's Micah Parsons. We saw yesterday what he's all about. He is building a house in that neighborhood right now with those guys.
But he might be paid like them. He might not be them, but he might be paid like them at some point in time, right? Well,
that's what Diana's basically saying right here.
Look, we kind of all saw this coming. It was a conversation that we wanted to have already because, hey, we were talking, this is obviously preseason, and thinking, man, AFC title game, that's going to be the next step. And if that's the case, boy, Stroud's going to get paid. Anderson's going to get paid. They already paid Petrie and Stingley and, these got Nico. They got these guys locked up.
Brought in Danielle Hunter for big money.
$35 million.
$35 million, man. Yep.
And, dude, Will Anderson is going to get paid, and the question is how much. But, there's the quarterback, there's the guy that protects the quarterback, left tackle, and then there's the guys that go get the quarterback.
Yep.
If you're going to pay quarterbacks and have the mindset of like, hey, next man up, it's the money's just going to continue to get bigger. Do we not do the same thing for edge rush to some degree? And I asked that, and I'll give you a little context. Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby, and Nick Bosa. Those are all of the guys. There are 7 of them that are making a $34 million at least AAV. Mm-hmm. Only ones that are even in the 30s and beyond. Some of them are in the 40s. Will Anderson is going to join them in that conversation. Though he'll be in that company this offseason. The question is it going to be closer to the 34 or is it going to be closer to the 43? What does that look like?
Well, and Micah's at like 46 or 47, isn't he?
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah,
I think he's like, I think Green Bay really piled it on with Micah.
46.5.
Yeah,
Micah.
yeah. So Micah is way out in front. I think the most instructive deal that got done out of those, I don't think Will is resetting the market if he does it this offseason. Look, Micah did that with 4-year body of work, mm-hmm. Going into his 5th-year option. Will is doing this right after year 3. If I had to predict what was going to happen, I think it happens quickly, mm-hmm. like Stingley. Stingley signed his extension a week into the new business year. He signed it in March, a week after the Texans could give it to him. I think that happens with Will Anderson. I think the Aiden Hutchinson contract is an interesting one to look at.
Okay.
4 years, $180 million. So that is what,
45
million a year. Yeah. $141 million guaranteed. I could see, Stingley's was 3 years, 90 million, so it reset the market. Nearly all of it guaranteed. I could see Will Anderson doing something like a 3-year, 130 to 140 million with like 136 million guaranteed. 3 years, 140, 135 guaranteed. A similar contract to Stingley. I don't think Nick Caserio has a big problem almost fully guaranteeing contracts as long as they're not 5-year contracts.
Well, and we've seen
Daniil Hunter's was the same thing.
Right. Well, we've seen the almost fully guaranteed contracts start to become a thing, not just with quarterbacks, but just with these big, high-profile,
but shorter deals,
elite, shorter deals, more guaranteed money.
Yes,
and I could see that with Will.
Yep.
Will, as recently as maybe just a couple of months ago, I feel like I was there when he'd said it. He wants to be here for life. He wants to be a Texan for life. Yeah. And
feelings mutual.
A lot of guys have said that over the years. And, sometimes in baseball you get burned when guys say that. It just doesn't work out, especially, when owners, have a hard line that they don't want to cross. We have not seen that with the Texans right now. They've not had a problem with paying their dudes.
If you're a guy who's great in the building, who comes to work every day. I know I'm going to fire a bunch of cliches. People are going to roll their eyes, but I'm telling you, this is how they look at it. Yeah. If you're a guy who comes in the building, works your ass off, you're an example for other players. And they've cited Will Anderson as an example in that locker room from about the day he set foot in the building there. Even in a room full of vets, guys would cite Will Anderson as sort of the guy. And now, 3 years in, he is that guy for this defense and for this team. He is about the safest bet that you can find in the NFL to give $100+ million guaranteed
to. And who would have thought? He's going to get his deal way before, I think, C.J. Stroud.
That's the other question I have. Does that get awkward at all? If Will gets this deal a week into free agent, or not free agency, but a week into the business year, and there's a debate over whether even to give C.J. that big contract.
Yeah, and I say way before C.J. Stroud. I just mean there's potential for it now, obviously, but it's been growing potential for the commitment to C.J. Stroud to take a little bit longer to kind of come to a resolution than not. These last 6 games for C.J. Stroud could eliminate all of that.
Yes.
If he does, fill in the blank.
If he could eliminate all the talk about, could get him a contract extension, you're saying? If he gets to an AFC title game, for sure.
Okay, yeah, and that I meant to say really 6 games and beyond. Yeah. That's kind of the caveat, because if it in and of itself is beyond, is it a large reason because he's been C.J. Stroud, the badass that we saw the rookie season, or C.J. Stroud and this Nick Haley offense? It's been I don't know.
I think they're correlated. I think to get to the AFC title game, C.J.'s going to need to show up at multiple points along the way here.
Yeah.
So I don't think it happens without C.J. Now that said, if they don't make the playoffs, it will be because of the offense. Unless there's a wave of injuries that we're not expecting to hit this defense. This defense ain't going to be the reason that they miss the postseason.
Yeah.
They're not going to start to have a University of Texas stretch here where they're giving up 30 points a game to a bunch of teams in a row.
Yeah. All that to say, now to mention, Will Anderson was on the injury report yesterday with a chest.
I'm glad you brought that up. We haven't brought it up yet. But real quick, I will say this about that, because I tweeted, I saw that he was on there. He didn't practice with a chest injury. They were fiddling around with his shoulder area during the game against the Bills. He came out for a few plays.
Yeah.
And the staff was attending to something in that upper body region. We had him on the postgame show. Mm-hmm. He sat from me to you, 5 feet away. Could not have been happier, more joyous, more playful. He was not conducting himself like somebody who was dealing with an injury that would prevent him from playing the Colts.
Then it might have been aggravated and maybe further aggravated into practice. That's my fear.
I choose to believe they are load managing him. I choose to believe maybe just a day off.
Yeah.
It is a minimally educated guess on my part. Yeah. I had no intel to that effect. I'm just telling you the things I know. I saw them working on his upper body during the game at one point. He came back in. Mm-hmm. We had him on after the game. Did not seem like a guy that was dealing with anything physical.
Going with that.
Yeah.
Knocking on wood. Yes. Crossing fingers.
All right. We have people requesting Take-A-Mania. Seth and I actually did Take-A-Mania on Wednesday this week because we knew he was going to be out today. But we will do a Take-A-Mania rewind. Did the Kendrick Perkins take on Shedeur Sanders win the strap? And if so, who did it beat to maintain that strap? Perhaps that was a spoiler, but we will do a Take a Mania rewind for you Friday listeners coming up next.
Our guy Lopez made a bold proclamation about the Texans after their win against the Bills.
Listen, Houston, we do not have to put quality.
insider access, exclusive content. Sports Radio 610. The Texans play here. An Odyssey sports station. It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Here's Payne and Pendergast.
All right, a lot of you asking about, hey, are we doing Take-A-Mania today? We did it on Wednesday, the official Take-A-Mania, where the sanctioned Take-A-Mania, I'll call it.
Okay.
That's the sanctioned Take-A-Mania. And for those who are new to the show, maybe you're in from out of town and you're like, hey, I need some sports talk. What's the big sports talk station here in town? And rightfully, your relatives go Sports Radio 610. Go listen to Payne and Pendergast in the morning. Today, it's Payne and Pendergast replacing Payne with Sean Bijani today. So we appreciate Sean being in here. Colin Neal in for Ben Gary, our producer. Holiday edition of the show. Take-A-Mania is our bad take segment. A lot of shows do that. Bad takes of the week. Which one's the worst? Ours is one that has a lineage to it.
Yeah.
We actually give the worst take of the week a championship belt, and then they defend it the following week.
Yeah.
Some have survived multiple weeks.
Kind of like SportsCenter used to do top plays, right? It would stay the top play until it was passed up.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a championship belt.
Yeah.
The champ coming into this week, so we're going to do a Take-A-Mania recap for those of you out there. The champ coming into this week was Stephen A. Smith blaming Kevin Stefanski for sabotaging Shedeur Sanders. This is from after the game where Shedeur came in against the Ravens and was abjectly terrible.
What I'm saying is, where Kevin Stefanski loses me, you're a two-time Coach of the Year, 2020, 2023. We know you can coach. We know you know what you're doing. How does a quarterback go out there in a game like that and look that ill-prepared?
Yeah.
How does that happen? See, that's where I push back on you to some degree in terms of something's not right. Because we could say a lot of things about Kevin Stefanski. We can't say he don't have his teams prepared. We can't say that he doesn't. Like, if you don't have the talent, you don't have the talent.
Well, he doesn't have his team prepared because you don't have the backup quarterback prepared.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my point. That's my point. My point is, that's not an error he would make. He's too wise. He's too knowledgeable.
Okay. So there you go. Kevin Stefanski. Shedeur was 4 of 16 because Kevin Stefanski was not preparing him properly to be a backup quarterback in a game against the Baltimore Ravens.
That's why. That's what I thought.
It was all Kevin Stefanski's fault that Shedeur, a fifth round rookie, was bad in that game.
Like the number 4 starter at one point this season on the depth chart.
Shedeur, yeah. There were 5 of them in training camp at one point. It was crazy.
It's maybe the most interesting quarterback room not named the New York Giants, I would say, in the NFL this season.
Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco. Deshaun Watson's still hanging. Deshaun Watson was on the sideline.
It was the Watson and the Flacco editions that made it really weird.
Yeah. So that was the champ. And then in swooped Kendrick Perkins on a podcast where he has routinely been saying some outlandish things, crazy things, but none crazier than this.
Shedeur Sanders is the most powerful black man since 2009. You know what happened in 2009?
Right.
That's when President Obama got elected in office. He's the most powerful black man since 2009. You said you were sitting there watching the game in your house, and what you did? You ran with the TV.
Yeah, right.
Right? What was you doing, DB?
I was cheering. I was happy.
You was cheering like a motherfucker. When Shedeur Sanders is on the field, and when I say powerful because there's two sides of it, right? Think about it. Okay, you got the black community. He bringing the whole black community together. I ain't ran across one black person that didn't said one bad thing about Shedeur.
We want him.
And guess what? Not one. Because he has the balance. He has the balance of that I'm arrogant, but I'm humble too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
He having fun with this.
And he having fun with this. And on top of that, y'all want me to say it ain't. Y'all want me to feel it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, he talking.
He's the most powerful black man in sports. No other. Matter of fact, black man. He the most powerful player in sports.
I mean, so the biggest reaction to that we've gotten is, okay, should there be a discussion that Kendrick Perkins is no longer eligible for Take-A-Mania? Because this is not the first time he's held the strap. He held the strap for at least 3 or 4 weeks because his scouting report that C.J. Stroud couldn't throw to the left.
Yeah.
Couldn't throw left. And he said, everybody knows he can't throw left. I'm like, no, I've watched every snap of C.J. Stroud as a Texan. I never knew that.
That was as part of his same take where he was talking about C.J. Stroud not being the Texans guy.
Not the guy, man.
He ain't the guy.
Not the guy. And, in fact, he went after Davis Mills' Jacksonville win.
Yeah.
Davis Mills is the guy.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, Kendrick Perkins is just a bad take fountain, man. He's a geyser of bad takes. So, anyways, needless to say, we had ourselves a new champ yesterday. And so that went first. The rest of these takes were just pure fodder. Like, this is like on Saturday morning wrestling where the champ is on there, and it's Andre the Giant or somebody really big, and they just feed him some jabroni from the local VFW, and they win in like 2 seconds. Here was the first challenger. This was J.J. McCarthy. This is actually repurposed from a couple of weeks ago, but because J.J. McCarthy sucks so bad at football now, I felt like this was a good time to dust this one off. The statute of limitations has not run out on this one yet, to where it's Take-A-Mania eligible. This is J.J. McCarthy being asked, hey, man, do you like flip a switch during the game sometimes?
Do you go to a different place in your mind, like on game day?
I feel like I do, yeah. There's definitely a little of a switch that gets flipped. For me, it's, that I call him 9. 9 comes out, and I got to understand, like, okay, he can't be at his peak performance throughout 3.5 hours. So how do I find little ways, on the sideline, get back to my breath, get back to my visualization that could kind of maintain that intense, competitive stamina throughout the whole game. But, yeah, it's just, the pure will, determination to get the job done.
All right.
Learn something.
He's 9.
Yeah.
He turns into 9. He turns into an alter ego named 9 who throws 3 interceptions, completes 8 of 31 passes, gets sacked on the 1-yard line multiple times. I'm exaggerating the completion percentage, but not by much.
Yeah.
But it's a horrible take. I turn myself into this action hero named 9, and I've got to really keep myself even keel and pick my spots and whatnot.
But you go to 10.
Right. Pick another number.
9 ain't working, bro.
9 ain't working. Pick the alphabet. Pick an emoji. I turned into poop emoji. But not even close to Kendrick Perkins saying that Shedeur is the most powerful black man, the most powerful person in sports.
Yeah.
Forget about race. He said he's the most powerful person in sports, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, it was one thing when he was talking about a case of national security.
Right.
Being more powerful than Obama back in 2009.
Yeah, right.
Not even a conversation of like, boy, most powerful black man in sports.
Yeah.
Like, who would you put that honor on? Like, not now, but if Tiger Woods was still playing golf, like, would you feel the same way because he plays football and now you're all of a sudden like NFL take aficionado?
It sounded like Perkins' take was based on how unifying Shedeur was for the black community. Like, he said it himself. He said, I haven't talked to a single black guy that is anything but on Shedeur's bandwagon right now. So it sounds like that was his definition. And, of course, immediately after that, we got 25 texts from black dudes saying, I don't like Shedeur. Why is he speaking for me? I don't like Shedeur.
Yeah, no, you get the Browns suck text messages.
And,
Yeah, he's the Browns quarterback. Come on.
All right, so J.J. McCarthy got squashed by Kendrick Perkins. Next one up was Kenzel Kelly. This is Brian Kelly. This isn't really a take. I just felt like replaying it because Brian Kelly's son is such a twerp.
Saw this.
Oh, my God. Kenzel Kelly, Brian Kelly's son, on the sideline. He plays for LSU.
Yeah.
Played most of his career at Grand Valley State, Brian Kelly's old stomping grounds. He's playing his final year at LSU. It was senior day. So for his dad, his boy, as he'll call him here, he had a T-shirt on underneath his jersey that said, Free BK. Here's what it sounded like.
Well, this is pregame, his senior day here, and one of those seniors is Brian Kelly's son. This is Kenzel Kelly coming out pregame. Pay special attention to that T-shirt he's got underneath his jersey. Former Grand Valley State player.
Here it comes.
Go Tigers! Long live BK! Long, free my boy! Free my boy BK! You know who?
You ever call your dad your boy?
No, never did.
All right, so
it's like the same thing.
Kenzel, Perk destroys that in like 15 seconds. But God, Brian Kelly's son, apple don't fall far from the tree, man.
Right.
Free my boy, free my boy. Yeah, BK.
You know.
Free BK.
Oh, man.
I love you, BK.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that was so that got squashed by Kendrick Perkins. Then the next challenger up was a player by the name of Ethan Burke, who is a defensive lineman for the University of Texas. And he was asked about in a press conference this week, because, of course, tonight the Longhorns play the Aggies. They host the Aggies. Mm-hmm. They're underdogs in this game. Small underdog, like -2.5. It's a field goal game, yeah. I think the Aggies are going to win by 2 scores, but that's just me. Ethan Burke said, he was asked, what do you think about the sports books making you guys an underdog?
I think most of the sports books have y'all as underdogs in this game. You guys feel like the underdogs?
No, I think we know what we're capable of, and you know who does the sports books? Have they ever played college football? Probably not. So, yeah.
No, they haven't. They're really good at handicapping college football. So now, according to Ethan Burke, you have to have played college football to be able to put a line on a game.
That's all he had. That's all he had in his holster to go with.
Yeah. Who are they? Have they ever played college football? No. A lot of them are really nerdy because it's math and analytics.
Yeah.
Ethan Burke.
And they are
big meathead.
Pretty good at it.
They're very good at
House
it.
usually wins.
Better than you, Ethan Burke. All right, one more from Texas. Something about this Texas defense, man. You got some meathead takes going on over there. This is is it Michael Taff? Is that the name of the safety who wears 16?
Taffy, I thought.
Taffy? Okay. Yeah, gotcha. He like Arch. They're number buddies. Mm-hmm. He's number 16 also. They're Eskimo brothers for the number 16 jersey. Taffy and Arch Manning. He was asked who would get your Heisman vote.
If you're the Heisman vote, who do you vote?
Arch Manning.
What is that?
I think, I don't know. You compare his numbers. I bet his numbers are probably up there. I think he's the most hated on person in all of college football, and he doesn't even care. He just cares about winning, and he cares about his teammates, and the things that he's done for this team, and the adversity that he's gone through. I think if you look at the best player in college football, I think it's Arch.
All right, that's a bad take. The Heisman Trophy is supposed to go to the most outstanding player in college football. Not the one who's been hated on most by the internet.
Yeah. Not
the one who's had to overcome the most adversity. Sorry. He is. Arch.
I didn't have that big of a problem with that take. It was like a 6-7.
You didn't? You didn't have a problem with that? Did you just 6-7 me?
Yeah.
You did 6-7 me.
Just for the sole purpose of saying
I was really enjoying this show. I was having such a good time doing radio.
He changed rules on the Circle of Swarm. Now he's done
Sean Bijani picks Nick Caley for the Circle of Hope Swarm. Guy's just coming in here making his own rules. I think we can both agree, whether we disagree about the take, we can agree not nearly in the same universe as Kendrick Perkins.
No,
on that we can agree.
Look, I give the guy a little bit of grace because it's a kid, right?
And he's taking up for his teammate.
He's taking up for his teammate, not in the way that we would, or somebody else. But
so I thought his criteria kind of sucked. If you want to know the truth, that's he overcame the most adversity.
But when you're put on the spot about answering a question about your teammate, that's where I give a little bit.
Stop giving him grace on this. All right. Now he doesn't beat Perk. All right, last one here. This you'll like. You're a big basketball guy.
Mm-hmm.
Theo Pinson.
Okay.
I don't know if he's still playing in the NBA or not. He's got a podcast.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
Yeah, you can still be playing in the NBA and have a podcast. Obviously, Draymond's got one. Several other guys have podcasts. He was on a podcast with a bunch of his fellas, and they broached the question about Kyrie Irving to the Houston Rockets and what you would give up to get Kyrie Irving, coming off an ACL, mind you, to the Houston Rockets. Theo Pinson's voice is the first one that you're going to hear, because it's about a 30-second clip where there ends up being about 4 different voices. So if you're looking to keep track, Theo Pinson's voice is the first one here. What would you give up in a trade for Kyrie Irving?
But if Kyrie goes to Houston, oh my God.
Houston's going to have to give back one of their pieces, though.
Bye-bye, amen.
Bye-bye, amen.
If you could find a way to not get rid of amen.
Would you give up Sengun?
Would I give up Sengun?
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. For Kyrie coming off of ACL?
No way?
I got to think about it, D-Will. I got to think about it.
I don't know if I can say no way that fast.
I don't know if I say no way.
Get out!
Yeah, I don't know if I can say no way that fast either.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if they were saying that you should trade Amen Thompson for Kyrie Irving, which I would not do.
Right.
You should trade Alperen Şengün for Kyrie Irving, which I definitely would not do.
Mm-hmm. Or both.
Or both, which you've got to be on drugs to do.
Yeah.
Like hard drugs.
Yeah.
Meth.
Did you see the report earlier this week about it was that guy on Twitter, the who, maybe it's an aggregate account or something like that. It's who.
The guy on Twitter.
But,
that guy.
They were suggesting, or not suggesting, but saying like, oh, there are reports that the Rockets are showing interest in trading for Minnesota's Anthony Edwards.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah. And so the conversation, like, what would it take to get Anthony Edwards? It's obviously Amen or Şengün.
Yeah.
Not both for Anthony Edwards. It definitely wouldn't be both for Kyrie Irving.
The people who espouse these Kyrie Irving trades, Anthony Edwards trade, especially those two. I mean, because Kyrie has gotten sideways in multiple places. Anthony Edwards is a different cat. He's only been in Minnesota, but he's a lot.
Yeah.
Even Giannis, because you'd probably have to give up a ton to get Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
But especially the ones that I feel like there's a personality quirk with.
Yeah.
I don't feel there's that with Giannis. I think Giannis seems like a very grounded, good dude.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Kyrie and Anthony Edwards are bad guys, but I do think they have personalities that you really have to question how good the fit would be with Ime Udoka here. I think those are people that are still proposing trades like it was when Daryl Morey was just trying to get 3 stars to Houston. We get 3 stars equals a title.
Yeah.
And it's not that way anymore, man. The game has changed. The second apron has done some things to rosters where, okay, these are the 3 guys you're now fully committed to. You got to really, and I think the Rockets have done a great job of this, you got to really vet the guys you're committing to.
Kevin Durant brings an interesting dynamic to the Rockets now because he's been on the super team.
Yes.
He's done the whole thing multiple times, right?
Yep.
Only won 1 title. And you think he'd like to win a title like as, you know, as unique as you possibly could in this era of NBA basketball?
Yep.
I don't think he's ready to like bring it all. He's already tried the experiment, by the way, with the Kyrie Irving thing.
Well,
right?
he's done it in Brooklyn, and then they tried to come get to Phoenix, and he's there with Devin. And so
disaster.
Yeah.
That take right there maybe could have been number 2 for me.
Behind Perk.
Yeah, Perk's
it's
number 1, and then that one.
Yeah, that was. I agree with you. That of all the ones we played post Perk, that was the worst one. Get the hell out of here. Coming off an ACL, I wouldn't do it for a healthy Kyrie Irving.
Agreed.
Coming off an ACL, are you kidding me? And people don't realize how old Kyrie Irving is. He got drafted in 2011.
Yeah.
He's 15, 16 years in now.
Yeah, he's so old it would take the Rockets as still being one of the youngest teams in the NBA to like middle of the pack.
Oh, yeah, right. All of a sudden, yeah.
You already got 37-year-old Kevin Durant. Come
37, and you got Steven Adams, who's an older player. I mean, you got a few guys in that rotation who are older guys. All right, that was your Take a Mania Rewind. Let's circle back to the Texans. We have new friends, the Texans do, and they showed themselves yesterday. And what is at stake with this game on Sunday against the Colts precisely? We will have that for you coming up next.
Look, this is an incredible time of the year for pretty much everybody but turkeys.
22. Payne and Pendergast is driven by West Point Lincoln of Sugarland on the Southwest Freeway. Exit Kirkwood and take the first U-turn at West Airport under the giant American flag. It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Here's Payne and Pendergast.
All right, Payne and Pendergast with you on a Football Friday. Sean Bijani in for Seth Payne. And do we know who's in for the guys in the loop today? Colin, do you have any idea?
Chris Partee and Paul Gallant.
All right. Oh, Chris Partee and Paul Gallant. Awesome. Oh, good. Paul Gallant can come in and tell me to my face how mad he is at me for emceeing the Houston Turkey Trot yesterday.
Why did he be mad?
He was mad at the Turkey Trot because it made it difficult. I think because it made it difficult for him to get around town.
Oh.
They block off a lot of streets and roads and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's why. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But I was posting on social media. And by the way, shout out to the Houston Methodist Turkey Trot. It was amazing.
Yeah.
10,000 runners, raised $10,000 for Be an Angel. That's
awesome.
Dan Pastorini's charity.
We contributed to that. My boy did the Turkey Trot. We weren't there.
Yeah.
But I went and got the bib and the whole thing, and so we did our own little mini turkey trot yesterday morning. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, they had a kids run.
Yeah.
How old's your boy?
5. He got his mile in.
Okay, good. Well, and the one they do for the kids is not even close to a mile.
It's a 1K.
Yeah,
but we did the 4 laps around the track.
Yeah, I don't even know if this is 1K that these kids did because they send the 6 to 12-year-olds off like in a wave.
Mm-hmm.
Or I did. I was the MC, so I did the whole start. And they go after all the adults. And they send the 6 to 12-year-olds off first.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 minutes later, we send off everybody under the age of 6. Some of the 6 to 12s are already running back over with their medals before we even sent the under 6 off. So whatever distance it was,
that's good.
It was less than 4 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's good because there might have been a situation where they're getting trampled at some point.
Yeah, that's true. We wait well after all the adults leave to send the kids off. Don't worry. But it was fun, man. Shout out to Houston Methodist and Be an Angel. I had a great time emceeing that yesterday. It's a really, really cool event. You know what else is a cool event? This Sunday, noon, Texans and Colts in Indianapolis. The only thing that would be better is if it were here in Houston. We'll get that chance in Week 18. Celebrate the new year by beating the Colts a second time in Week 18. Look, things are breaking the Texans' way right now. Not a lot was breaking the Texans' way the first 8 games of the season. They lost 5 one-score games. The offense couldn't get out of first gear. Mm-hmm. C.J. Stroud gets concussed, and that feels like, okay, this is just a cursed season.
Yeah.
I mean, there were points along the way, starting in the Denver game, that felt like this season's over. When C.J. Stroud got concussed, and then you saw how Davis Mills played in the second half of that game, it felt like season's over. And then they fall behind 17-0 to the Jags with fumbles and interceptions and punt returns for touchdowns and just things that are honestly signs of a team that is folding its tents or at best completely unfocused. And so you feel like at halftime of that game, man, the season is over. And even the Titans game where the Titans tie it up at 13, you feel like, okay, well, this somehow the cursedness of this team is just going to finally have a bow put on it here. And it didn't. And the Bills game was actually quite the opposite of those 2 other Davis Mills games where they took the lead. Felt like even though it was close at the end, Texans defense was not going to allow them to lose that game. Mm-hmm. I say all that to say that Bills game might be the beginning of where things are starting to turn a little bit for the Texans here. They win that game on Thursday night. Daniel Jones is now banged up. The Colts are playing their worst football of the year. That's who your opponent is on Sunday. And, oh, by the way, on Thanksgiving, 2 of the teams that were thought to be the 2 best teams in the AFC at the beginning of the year, both fell to 6-6 on the season in games that they were favored in.
Yeah.
The Ravens and the Chiefs yesterday.
All great points, man. Look, first of all, I don't know what it says about me, but I'm a big stat nerd. When the Texans started 0-2, I'm already looking. How many teams, overcome 0-2? We talk about it every year. With other teams usually, right?
Yeah.
And we're 2 years removed from talking about it with the Texans as C.J. Stroud is quarterback. They started 0-2 after losses to the Ravens and the Colts in his rookie season. 0-3. The Texans, if they do this, 0-3 is a big one. You overcome that, they are one of then now 7 teams in the last 35 years to make the postseason. I thought the damn season was over. It could have been over going into week 4. It was strike one for me when they lost that Seahawks game after destroying the Ravens.
Yeah.
It was strike one. I thought you needed that Seattle game to kind of stamp of approval, like here they come. Right?
Coming off a bye week.
Yeah, coming off a bye week. That was strike one. Yep. You lose the Broncos game, that's strike 2. Yep. I said, boy, if they lose this Bills game, that's strike 3. Because how much could you possibly overcome, right?
Yep.
They didn't. And now it's on to the next one. And because everything is breaking the way that it is, could the Texans stand to lose this game and still be okay? I say yes. But, boy, how many times do you want to put yourself behind the 8 ball, back yourself even further into the corner?
Yeah, I think they need to win this game because I'm still nervous about that. I'm more nervous about that Chiefs Sunday night game than I am this game.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they need to win. This is a winnable game. Not that the Chiefs game isn't winnable. And, look, the Chiefs have not been playing all that well lately either. You're sending the Texans into a place where they just haven't had a whole lot of luck lately. Whereas at Lucas Oil Stadium with C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans, they have yet to lose.
Yeah.
They're 2-0 there.
If I asked you the Buffalo win on Thursday, is that the most quality win of the season for the Houston Texans?
Most definitely.
Of course it was, right? Now, going by that and where this team is tracking right now, having won 3 straight games, have their most quality win against the most quality opponent all season long, huge. Now take into account what we thought this team was going to be capable of coming into the season.
Yeah.
This game against the Colts, these are the games you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
These are the games you're supposed to win if you think and still believe the Texans are going to be the team that you had predicted them to be, like an AFC title contending team. And we could talk about the Chiefs later. The Chiefs don't look like the Chiefs. You still have to slay that dragon. You haven't been able to do it. I'd rather do it in the regular season and keep them from getting into the postseason.
That's what'll happen.
And have to slay that dragon. That could happen. And you, if you're the Texans, can be looking at a 5-game win streak and coming back home for back-to-back games at NRG. But I think it's back to at that.
It
point
is back-to-back against the Cardinals and the Raiders.
Cardinals and the
Raiders. 2 teams that you will. As of right now, at home, you're more than a touchdown favorite against each of those teams. Against both of those teams, you are. So, it's a huge opportunity over the next couple of weeks. What's a couple things interesting to me. One is that if the Texans win this game, they're 7-5 on the season after an awful start. And it's been a season where, by and large, up until these last 3 games, everything's been real contentious and nervous and anxious and everything. This season has just started to be fun in the last week and a half or so. It's not been a fun season. Even when they won a couple of games, it's not been fun because of the 0-3 start. How you start really sets the mood for the season. The fact of the matter is, if they win this game, they're at the exact same spot they've been each of DeMeco Ryans' first 2 seasons here. They were 7-5 to start both of those seasons, and I don't know that I think the feeling was different for all 3 seasons. The first one, they were 7-5, and you're like, man, if they make the playoffs, this is incredible. We didn't think first year make the playoffs. They ended up winning the division. Second year, they started 6-2, and then went through that rough patch with all those primetime games. And the game that got you to 7-5 was a loss to the Titans at home. So I feel like that was almost like anger or resignation because you'd lost Stephon Diggs for the year. You were you'd lost Nico Collins for 5 games. You just got him back for that Dallas game and that Tennessee game. So I don't recall exactly what the emotions were. I just know that the first season with DeMeco, it was just house money and extreme joy that they're actually winning games.
Yeah.
7 was what they'd won the previous 2 seasons combined. So them being 7-5 was big. This season, it's been a long road just to get to where we're excited and happy here. And I'm excited and happy right now.
The house money thing went out the window once they made the postseason.
Definitely.
In DeMeco's first year for me. And I guess you agree. Maybe this is a nothing thing, though. You mentioned the correlation, the similarities between where the Texans had been the last 2 years and where they could be at the end of Sunday at 7-5. Is this something or nothing? DeMeco Ryans, in his first 2 years, have had 2 different stretches at different points of the season, of going 6-2. The Texans right now coming into this game are on a 6-2 stretch.
Yeah.
He's never had a stretch in which they've won 7 of 9 football games. You have to do extraordinary things when you put yourself in as deep a hole as the Texans did this season. They need to go 7-9 after Sunday. They need to be 7-2 in their last 9 games after Sunday.
I agree.
And it's maybe the most doable, given the context and how things have played out this year for the Texans, than in any of the last 2 seasons, because of how vulnerable the Indianapolis Colts look at this point in time.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. The other thing, too, that I feel strongly about real quick, win or lose on Sunday, let's pretend worst case, they lose the game. They're 6-6. They will be America's team next week when they go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
They will be America's team, because outside of Kansas City, I don't think there's a lot of people that root for Kansas City. Whether they're 6-6 or 7-5, the Texans, they will have a chance to drive the stake through the heart of the Kansas City Chiefs next week. 6-7, I don't think Kansas City's making the postseason. I don't think they're running the table. I mean, 6-6 right now. You go like we're at a point with Kansas City where it's not just now they're losing the 1-score games, they're not winning the 1-score games. There's some systemic things that they're just they're not as good at as they used to be.
Great point.
Certainly not as good defensively as they've been the last few years under Spags. All right, final segment coming up. We will stack the card for you. The big college games, the big NFL games this weekend. We'll find out what the guys got going on In the Loop today as well. We'll do all of that coming up next.
When you are looking to build a custom dream home, there's one thing you don't want. You don't want a builder who's trying to sell you on what they think your version of a custom home should be. You want a builder who's going to listen to you from the very beginning, work with their in-house design staff and experts to build you the home of your dreams. That's what you get with Kirk Homes. 3rd generation, family owned, and they listen to their customers from the
It's an Academy Sports and Outdoors Football Friday on Sports Radio 610. Live from the Mokaram Injury Lawyer Studios, here's Payne and Pendergast.
All right, Sean Pendergast, Sean Bijani in for Seth Payne today. We got college football going off soon, like real soon, like 11 o'clock today. I think we got, is your mic on?
No, not yet. No.
There we go.
Yay,
now it is.
There we
go.
I was doing the nice thing, and I moved spots so they could come in here.
You see, I never do that. I always forget to do that. Even when I watched you do it, I'm like, oh, there's something I should do here. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got to move spots. Oh, well. But yeah, college football getting going here pretty soon. I mean, we're waiting on this Lane Kiffin thing. You and I haven't talked about that yet today.
I know. I wanted to ask Rob Stone about that earlier because at the very, they're going to talk about it on the show, and I'm really interested to hear what Mark Ingram has to say, being a former SEC guy, Alabama guy. But, I could do 2 hours on this. I'm just fascinated by why the hell this is a thing at this stage in 2025 where you're a one-loss team in the playoff, and you're going to string this team along.
Right.
You're going to string this team along. Like, can you not just tell the media, you know what, stick it, and I'll let you know whenever we're done with this football thing?
He's trying to do that, Lane Kiffin. He gets asked about it all the time.
Yeah, but you don't need to make an announcement Saturday. You don't need to do that.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. There was that rumor of an ultimatum to Lane Kiffin. He's obviously going to coach in the game today. Would you want to hire a guy that would leave a team in the middle of a playoff run?
I know where you're going with this. And the popular answer, I think the obvious answer to most people would be like, well, no, I wouldn't hire a guy like that. Okay, context is important. Ole Miss, they're pretty good. They're in the SEC, right? There are only a couple of schools that are the cream of the crop beyond that, and one of which is what everybody thinks he's going to go, and that's LSU.
Mm-hmm.
You go to LSU. If I'm LSU,
you're saying in terms of like resources and profile, like
sure,
LSU is a top 5 job. That
absolutely.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
And so if I'm them, and I'm looking at Lane Kiffin, and I'm asking myself that question, we really want to hire? The answer is yes, because if he succeeds here, the only entity that you're afraid of ever losing that guy to next is the NFL, and that's what the best of the best do. That's what happens. If he wants to challenge himself beyond that, then so be it. But we would love to just get there, right? We'd love to get there. That means you win too.
Yep.
That means you win too. So yes, if I'm cream of the crop, I would still do that.
Boy, LSU, where's this money coming from? Because they just settled things with Brian Kelly yesterday.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we'll fire you not for cause, and you're fired, and we owe you $54 million. And if they're going to hire a coach like Lane Kiffin, you're talking about it being a Brian Kelly type contract probably, which is fascinating because the governor of Louisiana has gone on record saying, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. Well, you're going to have to, especially if Florida is in the mix for Lane Kiffin, because my guess is they're not – I haven't heard the governor of Florida sitting here saying what they're going to do with college football coaching contracts. So it's a really interesting thing.
Who's going to handle those negotiations?
I hope the governor.
The governor? It sounds like it's going to be him versus the AD.
I hope it's the governor because I found that guy to be fascinating when he was doing his thing, talking about Brian Kelly. All right, so stacking the card this weekend, 2 big ones here. Friday night, tonight, Texas A&M, -2.5 at Texas. And then Ohio State tomorrow, they're a bigger favorite against Michigan. They're a double-digit favorite, 11.5. I think what's interesting about these 2 games, Sean, is that I think the 2 favorites in these games, both on the road, both in the top 3, both practically clinched a spot in their conference championship game and have most certainly clinched a spot in the 12-team playoff. The higher-ranked teams have a chance to play spoiler for the 2 double-digit, 15 and 16th ranked teams that are trying to stay alive in the college football playoff mix.
Yeah.
It's a very strange dynamic that is now indigenous to the 12-team playoff that we've got here.
It was a really good conversation we had with Rob Stone earlier, and I'm fascinated by the Ohio State-Michigan game. That's just one of those games. if you're not even a college football guy, maybe you're just like a casual, it's kind of like the Kentucky Derby, the Indy 500. Like that's one of those things in this sport, you're going to watch that game.
Yep.
You're going to watch that game.
Yes.
And so I'm intrigued by it already, but I want to see, I like drama. I want to see the upset. I want to see Michigan, beat Ohio State and see how far the CFP committee is willing to move them up after having just moved them up 3 spots. I want to see what Texas A&M does. I'm not in fear. The line is curious to me, but I'm not going to bite. A&M's favored by 2.5.
What would make you? What do you think it should be?
6.5.
Yeah. You're not going to bite because it just looks like a strange line to you.
A&M's the better football team right now today, and they have been all season long. Texas, I don't trust the defense. I don't know that I even trust the offense that much.
Right.
So, not to say that I don't think Arch Manning could be a good quarterback one day, but I don't think he's ready for that next level right now.
Well, if you root for one of the schools that's in that 8 through like 12 to 13, that sea of 2 lost teams, so I'm talking about I'm going off of memory here. Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Bama. BYU's a 1-loss team, but they're 11th right now.
Include Miami in that?
Miami, I absolutely include because they're they play Pitt tomorrow at 11 a.m. That's at Pitt. I mean, that's another one where you got a team that's Miami is teetering. Miami's not going to be in the ACC title game, so this is it for them.
Pitt's a pain in the ass. That might be a game.
Yep. So you got that. But if you're one of those teams that we just named, Alabama, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Miami. You are rooting like crazy for A&M and Ohio State to win to completely eliminate Michigan and Texas from getting into a conversation about being an at-large team.
It's the same kind of a thing that we're talking about from a Texans perspective, right? This weekend's slot of games coming up, it's an opportunity for teams to beat up on each other like division rivals. And if you take care of your business, you create that buffer of teams like the Texans standpoint, like the ones that are behind you, like Chargers, Steelers, guys. And now you're able to kind of focus in on what's ahead.
Yep.
It would be the same thing here. I would love to see a little bit of drama. It's too much for Texas to kind of like overcome for what they've done here recently. If they pull off this upset over the Aggies today, right? It would be interesting, but if Michigan does that with Ohio State, they have to be bumped up too. I'm here for the theater. I love the 12. I think you're in agreement with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like it a lot.
Keep it there. We got enough drama going into this week of college football.
Armageddon would be Texas beats Texas A&M, Michigan beats Ohio State. So now you got 9-3 Texas and 10-2 Michigan, right? Michigan's 2-loss team right now. Vanderbilt beats Tennessee. So now Vanderbilt, who's 14, they're 10-2, if I'm not mistaken. Miami beats Pitt, they're 10-2. Alabama beats Auburn, they're 10-2. Yeah. Washington upsets Oregon. Oregon is now 10-2.
Ooh, what's the line in that Washington-Oregon game?
Oregon 6.5. It's at Washington though. It's at Washington.
Oh boy.
So that's nothing speaks Big Ten tradition quite like Oregon at Washington. But then what if Mississippi State? What if Ole Miss is a little defocused today? It's at Mississippi State. What if they're a little defocused today and this Lane Kiffin thing has them
wild?
Ole Miss is a 7.5 point favorite. That's not a big spread.
Wild at all.